Panthers fans, it's time to get out of your seats. Get on your feet. It's time to get loud in this place. Are you ready? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. South Florida, one tribe. Throw your hands up one time. All the way past West Palm. Exit one back to Sunrise. We FLA live. On the ice, it's a skate grind. Going hard every period. Game time is a great time. In practice, not average. Whole team will go savage. In the game, we get hat tricks with hard hits and rat tricks. That's victory. And Tail Stanley can sit with me as we watch live with the Pet fans right with me. Screaming out, let's make history. Saying, go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. Come on. Panthers fans, it's time to get out of your seats. Get on your feet. It's time to get loud in this place. Are you ready? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. South Florida, one tribe. Throw your hands up one time. All the way past West Palm. Exit one back to Sunrise. We FLA live. On the ice, it's a skate grind. Going hard every period. Game time is a great time. In practice, not average. Whole team will go savage. In the game, we get hat tricks with hard hits and rat tricks. That's victory. And Tail Stanley can sit with me as we watch live with the Pet fans right with me. Screaming out, let's make history. Saying, go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. You know what's up when we raise the cup, say go, Cats, go. We getting amped when they light the lamp, say go, Cats, go. Since 93, won victory, say go, Cats, go. Go, Cats, go. Come on.
This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city rising. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column.
What's up, baby?
Fence for life, we throw the folk. Singing this just to welcome bro.
Steven time. What's up, baby? What is going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Stephen D, and this is Clock Blockers, the number one Miami fan morning show. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I'm super excited to be hanging out with y'all on this Wildin' Out Wednesday. It's Wildin' Out Wednesday, a show made for the fans, by the fans, for the fans. So we got a big one. We have a big one coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure y'all are here for that, and it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Hey, look, if you want to sign up and become a member today, you can do that at all by subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. Make sure y'all do that. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It helps. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. If you want to sign up and become a member today, the link is in the description below. It will say, join this channel to get access to perks, membership. Hit it. Can we get 3 new members on the show today? It would be great. Love to get 3 new members on the show. If you guys want to follow me on all social media, make sure y'all do that at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can also follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter, where we are at MIA Sports Music. Make sure you all do that. It's important. Hey, look, if you want to help the channel grow by donating, there's lots of different ways you can do it. You can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. You can use that there. You can also use Cash App or PayPal, $MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that's right on your screen, or PayPal, which is also MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that's right on your screen. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports. ZSM Sports is the number one place to get your cars, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items. Make sure you follow ZSM Sports today. They're absolutely amazing. We love everything that they do there, and we're glad that they are a part of the family. Less is more events. Lime tickets. Make sure if you guys need tickets to anything in the country, tickets to sports and entertainment events for less than the competition, allowing you to have more fun, call 202-930-3533 to get a personalized experience with game tickets to the hottest event you want today. Lime takes pride in providing the hottest tickets at great prices with no service fees. Call today, 202-930-3533. And last but certainly not least, Tailgreeter. Tailgreeter is absolutely amazing. Download the app today on your current Apple or Android devices. Make sure you do that and follow Tailgreeter on all social media at TAILGREETER. Do want to remind you, hey, and I put in the links or in the chat already. If you're just joining us, we got a lot of great events coming up. All right, including the Baltimore Beatdown. That's right, the Baltimore Beatdown is going to be absolutely amazing. If you guys want to go to it, I put it in the chat here a little bit ago, and make sure you guys go check it out. Today is the last day for the pre-sale. If you guys want to go to Baltimore, Philly, or DC, today is the last day of the pre-sale, which means ticket prices go up starting tomorrow. Get your tickets now on Tailgreeter. Search Baltimore Beatdown. You'll get access to the free Saturday night meet and greet. We have access to game tickets, upper level and lower level, and we have all-inclusive tailgate. I will tell you, tomorrow or Friday, we are going to be releasing, which we're pretty excited about, the hotel. We locked up the hotels yesterday, all 3 of them, and we're going to be announcing them as soon as we get the links so that people can sign up right away. And we're going to have access to a round transportation from the hotel to the game, back to the hotel for all 3 cities. So if you're going to go to the Washington or the FedEx takeover, Again, Saturday night meet and greet, game tickets, all inclusive tailgate. It's going to be dope. All right. So make sure you all check that out. And in Philadelphia, it's the same thing too. The Philly Finvasion. Today is the last day for the pre-sales. Go on Tailgreeter, search Philly Finvasion, FedEx Takeover, or Baltimore Beatdown, and make sure you get your free Saturday night meet and greet passes, game tickets, and all-inclusive tailgate. We do not want you to be forgotten or left behind. And then come Friday, hopefully tomorrow or Friday, we will have the links up for the hotels, as well as we're going to add into Tailgreeter the bus pass, the transportation. So you'll be good there too. So be on the lookout for all that stuff. It's good stuff. Okay. Working real hard on that. We locked up all the 3 hotels. I think you're going to like them. They're really, really cool. The one in DC is right near the White House, which is great. The one in Philadelphia is probably 9 minutes away from the stadium, which is great. And the one in Baltimore is right near right near our meet and greet at Jimmy's Famous Seafood on that Saturday night. And then we're also looking to do a New Year's Eve party that evening in Baltimore too, since that game is on New Year's Eve. So be on the lookout for all that. All that's coming up. Super excited. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday. It is a show that was created for you fans to while out. There are different types of rules for Wildin' Out Wednesday. We do timeouts and bans here, all in good fun, all for fun. 10-minute timeouts, $50 day ban, $100 week-long ban, $50 day month-long ban. I will tell you that today is the last day of the month. If you guys want to help this channel grow, we haven't had a great month in donations. So today, let's have a good Wildin' Out Wednesday today. Okay, let's get some people off. Let's get some people on. Rules are you or someone on your behalf can pay to bring you back. Once that happens, the original person who banned or timed out that person can no longer ban or time out at that level. They must move up to the next tier, but someone else can ban or time them out at any level. Remember, this is for fun. It supports the channel. Enjoy. Do not take it personally, okay? Do not take it personally. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday, a DolFan-controlled panel show. I don't know how controlled it gets. It gets a little crazy. So, yeah. Hey, one last reminder before I open up the panel. The 3rd annual Southwest Florida DolFan Club Beach and Mud Bash, June 10th and 11th. If you go to Tailgreeter right now and look up Southwest Florida DolFan Club or Beach and Mud Bash, you will see access to get your tickets to the 3rd annual Beach and Mud Bash. So go to Tailgreeter and download the app or go to the website and type in Southwest Florida DolFan Club to get your Beach and Mud Bash tickets June 10th and 11th. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, I'm dropping the link, and we're gonna get this party started today. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Let me pin the link to the top of the page. And there we go. So this morning I was supposed to have Bryant McKinney on. Bryant McKinney had a last-minute obligation come up, an opportunity, honestly, come up. And so he's doing that this morning. But he will be on tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we got a stacked morning show for you on Throwback Thursday. We're going to have, obviously Cameron will be on co-hosting. And we're going to have Locked On Panthers Hockey, Armando on, talking about the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to have Bryant McKinney on. We're going to get in touch, some of the stuff from the past, and also, what he thinks about the Dolphins currently as they're doing everything. It's going to be great. It's going to be dope. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, man. Get on here. Let's go. It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. I want to hear from you, man. I haven't talked to a lot of you in a while. Only talked to a couple of you yesterday. It's probably been, a week and a half since I've talked to some of you. But it is the last day of the month. So let's get up here, man. Let's enjoy today. together. I'm excited about it. A couple things, I'll talk about while I'm waiting for people to come on to the show this morning. For me, I've been watching a lot of the, tomorrow's post June 1st. And so a lot of stuff's going to go down in the next 48 to 72 hours around the NFL. And there's a lot of discussion of what's going to happen in this Dalvin Cook situation. I have an opinion on it, and my opinion is Dalvin Cook will end up getting released tomorrow. I don't know what is the earliest people can get released. June 1st. Can they get released at 12:01? June 1st. NFL rules. Any player released or traded after June 1st will have his dead money. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it could happen starting tomorrow, which it sounds like it can. So, yeah. It should be good. Starting at 12:01, I think we're good to go. So, yeah, I personally predict that, Dalvin Cook will get released by Minnesota, and Miami's the favorites to pick him up. I predict that we will ultimately. I don't have any inside information. I don't have any sources. I just think that ultimately that's what's going to happen. There's way too much smoke. And when there's smoke, there's fire. Bad analogy is the only one I could use. Look, Zach Hiller, his agent came on a couple of weeks ago on our show and didn't say anything without saying anything. Of course, hey, look, this is what's going down. One of the other things that I find very interesting too is what do we do with Cedric Wilson? How is that going to work out for us? Do we get rid of Cedric Wilson? I don't know. I would have said Cedric Wilson would have been gone earlier, but I think we could save an extra $2 million by letting him go post June 1st. So Cedric Wilson, or traded. So I believe Cedric Wilson will go too. Will he get released? Will he get traded? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But I believe Cedric Wilson is gone. I believe that, we'll go out and get Dalvin Cook. And another thing that I find interesting of this whole situation, too, is the DeAndre Hopkins situation. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form the Dolphins are in on DeAndre Hopkins, although I've seen some people that on social media that say that we are. We're not. But I think that DeAndre Hopkins will be will be interesting for the Dalvin Cook situation. Why is that? They don't play the same position, but they're both weapons in the NFL. But you can't necessarily afford them both if you're Buffalo or if you're the Jets. And not that I think the Jets are in on Dalvin Cook, but they definitely are on DeAndre Hopkins. What happens there? I'm not sure. DeAndre Hopkins could end up in Baltimore. He could end up in New York. He could end up in Buffalo. I personally believe he's in the AFC, DeAndre Hopkins, when it's all said and done. But I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that we're in on it. But I think that the effect of Hopkins will affect what happens with Dalvin. Why? Because there's some teams that want Dalvin and or Hopkins, and they're going to wait to see what happens with the Hopkins situation. If I'm honest with myself, though, the Dolphins know what they want to do with Hopkins. I mean, with Dalvin, and they're going to be 12:01 knocking at his door, or as soon as he gets released, knocking at his door. Hey, man, let's show you the facilities. Come on. We got Jalen here. We got Christian Wilkins. We got Tua. We got Tyreek Hill. Come on. We got Jalen Waddle. Come on. Teron Armstead. Come on. Yeah, I believe that's what's going to happen. And I think that by the end of this week, Dalvin Cook will be a Miami Dolphin. And then you'll have Devon Achane. You'll have Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson. I mean, we're going to have a hell of a team this year. I'm excited about it. I think that it's ultimately something that when it's all said and done, the Dolphins are going to be in the right and on the right side of things. Here's the thing. The Dolphins know that they're behind the 8 ball in South Florida. Right now, you got the Heat and the Panthers in their respective championships, and NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals. You know, there's a good chance the Miami Marlins are going to make the playoffs as a wild card team. And I know it's early. It's way early probably to predict that. A lot can happen between now and the end of the baseball season, but they're competitive at least, which is fun to watch. You know, we had the Hurricanes and FAU in the Final Four. I know I said some of this yesterday, but I mean, the Dolphins know they have to step up because if they don't, I mean, there's going to be hell to pay. And there's no reason to think that they won't, just to be perfectly honest with you. They've made all the right moves. I believe in McDaniel. I think McDaniel's going to change a lot between now, change a lot from his first year to his second year. There's a lot to like about Mike McDaniel. And so for me, McDaniel's one of the big X factors here, but it's going to be good because he doesn't have to worry about the defense because now you got arguably best defensive coordinator in the NFL and Vic Fangio. So he's not on the sidelines worrying about that. This is the second full year. Forget everything else that you know about Tua. This is the first time in several years that Tua has a playbook, the same playbook for 2 years in a row. He's not learning a new playbook. That's a huge X factor. One that is not talked about enough. Huge. So now you have Tua, who's got a second-year playbook, he's not learning anything. He's got more speed than he's ever had, even in last year. Devine A-Chain helps out with that. We'll see what happens at the tight end position. We know they got speed. Braxton Berrios, fast. Robbie Chosen, fast. I'm telling y'all right now, the Dolphins have the fastest team in the NFL. Their offense is predicated on speed. And for everything that we know, they had a top 10 offense last year. Why wouldn't they have a top 10 offense this year? I know things happen. Nothing's guaranteed. I understand that. But I'm predicting that they will. And Vic Fangio, everywhere he's gone, has had success. And the only way for their defenses to go is to go up. And they arguably have the best secondary in the entire NFL, top to bottom, not just upper echelon. I'm talking about 1 through 8, 1 through 9 secondary, best in the NFL. Shake Money, I said in several years. He had the same playbook in Alabama, just different OCs. Saban used the same playbook. Okay, well, look, even when you have new OCs, you're hearing things differently. You're hearing that, you're hearing different things in your helmet. There's still a lot to be said from that. As I'm fixing my light here. Our offense has no line again. That's not true. I know our offensive line is not what we want it to be, but it is not. It's not the worst. No, that does not sell any of you on how. Look, I believe that our offensive line is improved to a certain extent. I believe that bringing in somebody like Butch Berry, just because he was not my first pick, he was McDaniel's pick. And now McDaniel had the chance to do that last year, to bring in somebody he liked, but went out and got Matt Applebaum. It didn't work out. 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. That sucks. Do I wish we had got Brandon Shell? Hell yeah, I do. I'm pissed that the Buffalo Bills got him. I think that the Dolphins would have been better served to go out and get Mike McDaniel Brandon Shell over Isaiah Wynn. Brandon Shell's numbers were better. They were. They most definitely were. Coaches don't block. I agree with that. Coaches do not block. You are correct. But coaches teach. Coaches coach. And the one thing that we can say about our offensive line over the last 10 years is 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. No consistency. Every year, every offensive lineman is getting reevaluated. Every single year. Every single year. How do you expect the offensive line to get better when every year they have to reevaluate themselves to different coaching style, different offensive scheme, different everything? We talk about different head coaches the last several years. We've had different offensive coordinators for the last several years. A couple of them were back-to-back. Don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, you can't – we talk about the expectation of what the offensive line should be. Well, the expectation should be consistency. We have had no consistency at O-line, period. And at most parts of our team, we haven't had a lot of consistency. How do you expect them to get better? Well, this year I fully expect them to improve upon what they did last year. If they had a top 10 offense last year with the offensive line that they had last year, imagine, by the way, they've gotten more weapons. If they go out and get Dalvin Cook along with Devon A-Chain, you bring in back Braxton Berrios and Robbie Chosen to play 3 and 4, and hopefully Eric Ezukama can step up. You know, the book's still out on him. It'll be interesting to see what he's like in training camp and preseason. Although last year in preseason and training camp, he balled out. The moment we got to the regular season, he didn't know the playbook. Everything I've heard from him this year is, I know the playbook now. Okay, well, show me on the field. Because I want Eric Ezukama to work out. I don't want that to be another wasted draft pick. But I believe on everything that Butch Berry is one of the key parts to this. And I get when people say, hey, look, coaches don't block. That is a fact, 100% facts. They are. And here's the other part to all this. The other part to all this is Tua's got to stay healthy. And I know we don't like to necessarily talk about that as much, but he does. He has to. If Tua wants to improve, if Tua wants to get better, Tua has to stay on the field. If this offense wants to improve, if this offense wants to get better, Tua has to stay on the field. If this team wants to improve in the win-loss column, Tua has to be on the field and play at a consistently high level and play in the months of December and play into January and hopefully February. And I'm not just talking about January 1 or January 8th. I'm talking about the later months of January. I just think that Tua, I already know he has it in him because I saw it last year. I just need to see the health. And I need to see him play against some better, and he's going to. I mean, you go back and you look, right, at the Miami Dolphins schedule this year. We're going to know in the first month who the Dolphins are. They got to play Justin Herbert in the Chargers. They have to play Belichick and the Patriots. I don't care how bad the Patriots are going to be. Division rivals always play you hard. They always play you tough. By the way, my line is open. If you guys want to get on, the link is pinned to the top of the page. If you disagree with me or you don't like what I'm saying, get up here. It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. Where are y'all at? I'll be more than happy to debate y'all. So we got the Patriots week 2. We got the Broncos, Sean Payton in week 3. And we got the Bills in week 4. We're going to have a somewhat good idea after the first 4 games about where the Dolphins are at. And don't get me started on the next 4. Daniel Jones and the Giants coming into town, playoff team. Panthers, we should kill them. Not worried about them. That's going to be Party Fan Club weekend. Make sure y'all check it out. It's going to be dope. Then we got the Philly Invasion. If we go into Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football and take care of business, y'all ain't going to be able to tell me nothing. Not a thing. Because we would have beaten one of the best teams in all of the NFL at their building on primetime. On primetime. And then you got the Patriots again. So there's your next 4. I fully predict the Dolphins at minimum go 3-1. Minimum. And then you got to go to Germany, play the Chiefs. Then you play the Raiders. Then you play Aaron Rodgers. Then you play the Commanders. I only see maybe 3 losses potentially by the time we get to December. That's it. I'll do you one better. Over under 4 losses by the time we get to December 11th on that Monday night game. Over under 4 losses by the time we get to December 11th. I'm taking the under. I'm straight taking the under. You know, and then the real test comes in for us Dolphins fans. Now we're in December. Okay, we took care of Washington. The FedEx takeover was a blast. We all had a good time. Bam, we get to December 11th. We get on Monday Night Football. I think we're going to win there. And then we got Aaron Rodgers again on December 17th. In Miami. Then you got the Cowboys, whatever it is. Then the Ravens in Baltimore again on New Year's Eve, and then the Bills. The last 4 games are the toughest 4-game stretch of the season. Call me a liar. Tell me I'm lying. And that's where we need to win. We need to win games there. If I say at December 11th the Dolphins have less than 4 losses and they're in the thick of it, what you want to see on December 11th is a healthy Tua, a healthy everything else, honestly. We don't need to have injuries, a lot of them anyway. And we need to be top 10 in the offense, and we need to be top 15 minimum in defense. And if all of those things occur, it is 10:03. It is the last day of this wonderful month of May 31st. If the Miami Dolphins have less than 4 losses, top 10 in offense, top 15 in defense, they will be the favorite to win the Super Bowl come December 17th when they're playing the last 4 games against the Jets. They will. 100%. And then the real test will come in. Can you win big-time football games in December? The Jets, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. You want to know how good we're going to be? We're right there, last 4 games. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all can say that I'm a hopium dealer. Y'all can say that, oh, you're a 2-and-ear, you're optimistic. How are you not excited for this football team right now? Do we need to make a couple of different changes on the O-line? Yeah, I'd like to see some more depth added. Maybe another potential starter. Risner's still out there. DJ Fluker's still out there. You never know who's going to get cut tomorrow. Dalvin Cook adding. Come on, man. 716. It is. LOL. I'm about 2 minutes from throwing the laptop in the trash. Don't how are you not not much, just turned in quick, busy day to say many people out of work and got stuck doing all their stuff. Fun times. Yeah, I hate when that happens. 716. I've been in that position. It sucks. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. I don't know where everybody went. Everybody said they were going to be here today. It's 35 minutes into the show, nothing. Nobody here. Nobody here this morning. What's up? 70 of y'all in the thing, only 23 likes. Hit the like button. Some of y'all in here are agreeing with me. Some of y'all are not. Get up here. I want to hear from you. Link is in the chat. I pinned it to the top of the chat. Just put it in again. Let's go. Get up here. Jonathan Evans fins up from Alabama. What's up? What's up, Jonathan Evans? Chris Smith says, I'm here, Steve. I appreciate it, Chris. Make sure y'all sign up and become a member today, too. I want to get 3 new members to the channel. Subscribing is free. If you're not already subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Bones says, so we nobodies now? Boo this guy. No, you're not nobodies, Bones. Bones, you should be a member. Chris Smith, you should be a member of the channel. Even if you're just the DWA, DolFan with attitude. There's 3 different tiers. We got something for a little bit of everybody. Get up here. Be a member. Drop the link in the chat. Let's go. Look, I go back to my original thing. You go to a lot of different platforms, you'll hear a lot of different scenarios. Some people are optimistic. Some people are excited. Some people are not. I'm telling you the reasons you should be excited. And I also raise my hand and say, yes, there are some question marks on O-line. How healthy can Tua be? How healthy can everybody else stay? I get it. I understand it. The Dolphins, when it's all said and done, are going to go into December 11th with less than 4 losses, and we're going to say, okay, let's go. What do we need? Jets Gang says they know the season's over before it starts. Nah, that's not happening, Jets Gang. You know, and I'll talk briefly about the rest of the AFC East. We'll start with New England. I respect the Patriots as long as they have Belichick, because you never know what Belichick's going to pull out of that. That's real. I expect that. I understand it. But you think I'm scared of Whack Jones? Nope. Sure am not. I am not scared of them. How can you not be excited for this team this year? We all know the what ifs and etc. But damn, we got the team to do it this year. I agree. All right, let me bring in the first guest of today. From all the way from Zamunda, Shake Money. What's up, Shake?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just taking a break, join you while everybody works their way up here, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm just running through the rest of the AFC East. You want to hear the rest of my AFC East prediction?
Sure, but before you do, man, like I said, I had Dolph Freaky in the blender a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really excited. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be at the Mud Bash, and from what I've seen, tickets are on sale for all you could at Tailgreeter, of course. All you can eat, all you can drink, wristbands. So I'm going to cop that before on payday, man. It's going to be a great event.
Dude, if y'all want to go to that, it's going to be awesome. The 3rd annual Beach and Mud Bash in Southwest Florida. It's all Dolphins fans over there in Felda, Florida, Lazy Springs Recreational Park. All you can drink, all you can eat. Go get your tickets now on Tailgreeter. Allie, aka Dolfreaky, is organizing and getting that thing together along with the rest of the Southwest Florida DolFan group. It's going to be dope and fun, and y'all need to be there for it. It's gonna be good times.
The best part about it is if you drink, you can camp out, bring your camping gear, you can camp out there. You don't even have to leave. You just wake up the next day.
This is the first time that they've done camping part, but I was at the first one ever, and it was dope, man. It was real dope.
I can't wait though. Real talk.
All right, back to the AFC East. So to go back to my spiel about the rest of the AFC. So I'm not scared of New England. I'm just not. Their number one wide receiving weapon this year is Gesicki. Now I know they got what's his face from Kansas City. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I know you Smith-Schuster.
Yep. And I understand that, but I still think that Gesicki is going to be one of their biggest weapons this year. And that's it. Like I don't see them winning more than 8, maybe 9 football games. Period.
Yeah.
What's up, Dade County?
What's good, Steven? I couldn't leave you up here by yourself, man. Where everybody at?
Where everybody was at. It's like everybody was hanging, leaving me hanging out to dry today.
You know what, man? Look, you know what's actually been happening, Steven? Everybody been missing since the Celtics got their ass whooped.
Oh. That's what happened.
I mean, Steven, look at your Twitter feed. Where has everybody been since since the series is over?
I don't know.
Everybody's been missing.
Everybody,
especially all the people talking crap to me. So they could been talking all this crap, but now that I got a victory in my pocket, nobody want to talk to me. Oh, okay.
Nobody wants to say nothing to you, Dade.
What's going on, Dade? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, pimp?
Not much. How's my Carroll City brother?
Babe, you already know how it's going, bro. We out here living.
He said we out here living. Bout it. So yeah,
happy feelings in the air.
I love Dade. So yes, so to go back, so New England, I don't see winning any more than 8 or 9, right? And until they get a quarterback in New England, I'm just not scared of them.
Let me ask you this.
I think they're going to win some games, and they're going to win some big games, but they're not going to win any more than 8 or 9 at most.
Let me ask you what about Mac Jones? Here's the thing, and I hate to sound like a Mac Jones defender, but at the end of the day, he had a great rookie year because of Josh McDaniels. Then you give him Bruno from Popeye, who was a defensive coordinator, who was not even a good defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator. You had Joe Judge, a special teams coach, as his quarterbacks coach, and you expect him to light it up? No, I don't think so, bro. I think Mac Jones
Shake, to be fair, all those are great points, right? Like I hear you. My issue with New England is Belichick's supposed to be the guru, right? And look, I understand he's a defensive-minded coach, but he understands what it takes to win on the offensive side of the ball. He's got enough Super Bowl rings to know. So it shouldn't matter in a Belichick-led football team who the offensive coordinator is, because he's had multiple offensive coordinators throughout the years and won multiple championships.
Yeah, but you're talking about Josh McDaniels.
But he's a deep.
Talking about proven.
Steven, but he's a defensive guy, so you can't really sit there and try to make it seem like because he's been with the team so long that he should automatically have a offense in his back pocket. No, that's not going to work like that.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Have the Patriots won multiple championships with Tom Brady and different offensive coordinators throughout the years?
But none of the offensive coordinators that Tom Brady had were defensive coordinators masquerade as offensive coordinators, bro. Charlie Weiss was a proven guy. Bill O'Brien was a proven guy. Josh McDaniels. You could tell the difference when he was playing under Josh McDaniels versus when he was playing under Matt Patricia, who was getting his playbooks off of Madden 97.
Oh, I love when people say that. All right, look, here's the thing. I get that there was a defensive-minded coach on offense, but the reality of the situation, Shake, is that when Brady was there, and I'm not comparing Brady to Mac. I think that's unfair comparison. But what I will say is that they still won football games, even when Jacoby Brissett was in, even when Matt Castle was in. No matter who was plugged into that back, they still won football games. I think the X factor here, and don't get me wrong, I think your point plays a part. I just think Mac Jones is a bad quarterback. Well, and I think the reason he had success that first year is because Josh McDaniels does make a difference of 1 to 2 games, maybe, right? And maybe but you also have to admit, over the last 3 years, his confidence has had to go down. Yeah, it's had to.
True. But are you discounting the fact that he has an OC that's proven?
But here's the thing:
who's the offensive coordinator in New England?
They got Bill O'Brien back, right?
They got Bill O'Brien.
But still, Mac Jones was
that's a legit offense.
Making the playoffs. 1 game away from making the playoffs. You're acting like he was like there were a 2-win team that he didn't win any games at all.
So Dave, let me ask you: over under 8 wins for the Patriots this year?
I would probably sit them at 9.
I'm going to say 8 or under.
So y'all think they're going to be really bad.
But Dave, answer me this. Riddle me this, Batman. And not Batman who just came out. I'm talking about you, Dave.
No, that's a Laker fan. You can't get us confused.
You're telling me that the New England Patriots are going to get 9 wins, the exact amount that we got last year, and we had a 10 times better, more talented roster than they had? And then
I feel like a legit offensive coordinator puts them, it makes them a little bit better than last year. So yeah, I'll say 9.
So where do you think that puts us when we had a top 10 offense last year?
We had a top 10 offense, but we know why we lost so many games last year. We had injuries and we had our defense not playing well. I mean, I put us at 12 wins minimum this year.
Okay, even with the schedule that we have.
Yeah, I like 12 wins.
I like the optimism. I don't think you're far off. I like the optimism. Good morning, Lewis. You were the next one up here. Lewis, good morning. My brother Lewis from another mother.
Good morning,
King Flip-Flop. King Flip-Flop. King Bandwagon. What's good?
Ain't no bandwagon over here, Dave.
Well,
ain't you a Denver fan now? You're a Denver fan now, correct?
Y'all took a minute to get up here today.
That's why I came up here. I heard this is called Wildin' Out Wednesday, not Capping Wednesday when Dave comes up here capping. What's wrong with you?
I'm capping.
One of my best friends in the world, Ryan, who helped me put all these events together, is up here, the president of the Valley Fanatics fan club in West Virginia. What's up, Ryan?
What up?
My brother. Y'all don't know Ryan. Y'all get to know him. He's the man. He's one of my best friends. Love Ryan. Batman, what's up, Batman? How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Steven. Good morning, everybody. I got a question. Is this Dave the football guy or Dave the post-flame?
Bruh, y'all so lame. Y'all so lame. Hey, so Steven, if you're confused on there's a little inside joke they have.
I was about to say I'm not on the inside.
You're not look, you see that heat hat you have on your head? You're a basketball guy now. You can't talk football because you're rooting for your team. I'm sorry. Because I'm rooting for my team, now I'm considered a basketball guy. That just sounds like somebody need to pull their skirt down to me.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Dave, what does he say on Barbershop? This ain't no hater ratio or no harder ratio. Hey. This is nothing but good, healthy conversation. That's all this is. It's all this is.
Steven, I just see 2 dudes up here on this panel need to pull their skirt down. Pull your skirt down.
Steven, let me give you the real lowdown of what happened. Okay.
I'm ready.
Capping Wednesdays, remember that, Steve.
The Miami Heat are up 3-0.
Yes.
Dade County is flooding everybody's inbox on Twitter 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Look at that.
Revenge, Heat and 4.
Ain't nobody put up their phone no more.
Hey, can I please finish?
You lying though? I put up there till 4 in the morning, bro.
Okay. It's 3-0. Dade County is flooding everybody's inboxes, right? All of a sudden, it's 3-3 now. We're on a Twitter space. Dade County, and I quote, says, "Hey, I don't know why you guys are talking to me. I'm a football guy. I'm not a basketball guy." Well, hold on. when you were a basketball guy though. When you were up 3-0. Oh, funny.
And you were in people's inboxes at 3 a.m.
Oh, but now that it's
3-3,
now you're a football
That's cap.
guy. Oh,
so we up here capping. Lewis, you're going to literally lie to our fan base, Lewis.
He's not lying.
Dave, were you in people's DMs?
Not 3 in the morning. Y'all are lying. 3 in the morning is way too late, bro. I ain't up there on Twitter.
But this is the thing. This is the thing, Steven. He makes posts like at midnight, 11 o'clock, and people retweet it at 3 in the morning. So that's the thing.
That ain't my problem.
You shouldn't be talking people.
He said that ain't my problem. Don't be mad at me that people
y'all turned on me, bro. My Dolphin brothers turned on me, bro.
If I could interject, I'm a football person. I'm not a basketball person. That being said, I haven't hesitated to talk trash to anybody who will listen that's trying to act like Boston is a better team and was going to win that series. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I talk shit all the time.
So according to Lewis in Batman, you are now a basketball guy, sir.
No. Here's what Lewis probably appreciates. I don't mean to speak for Lewis, but I bet you he agrees with me. What he appreciates about Ryan is Ryan kept it 100 there. He's like, I'm not a basketball person. I don't claim to be one. Dave, you up here in people's inboxes claiming to be one. And I think that's what
no, that's not a fact. Why is everybody up here lying on me today? Because I'm in your inboxes. The only reason I'm in your inboxes in the first place is because y'all were talking crap to me about how Boston was going to beat my team. So now that my team is smacking Boston around, why won't I have a little fun and send the DMs out? But I still never claimed to be a basketball guy. I never claimed to be a basketball guy. We up on football panels talking basketball. But because I'm repping my team, I'm a basketball guy.
Before we go back to the Dolphins conversation, real quick, what do you think they're going to do against Denver?
Sweet.
Nuggets in 4.
Heat in 6. Look, see, I told you he's a Nuggets fan now. Hey, look, so keep in mind, everybody watching this show, keep in mind, Lewis has been a who we got first round? He was a Bucks fan, then he was a Knicks fan. Then he was a Boston fan. Now he's a Nuggets fan. Tell me that does not spell bandwagon.
Hey, I'm just following in the footsteps of the host of this show. Ain't he a Laker fan? Now he fan?
No.
Ain't that
straight?
Hey, look, Steven, don't let him call you out. Batman won too. Batman did it too.
But see, Batman is a Lakers
Everybody's
fan.
a Laker fan.
I am a
He was a Heat fan first. Ask him. He was a Heat fan first.
If LeBron James
switch
goes
out
to the Phoenix Suns next year, guess who I'm gonna be rooting for? The Phoenix Suns and LeBron James. If
just
LeBron
like me,
James
a Bill Russell fan.
Hornets,
exactly.
But Steven, the difference
retires. The moment LeBron retires, I will be a 100% dedicated, without a doubt, unequivocally Miami Heat fan, no matter who's there for the rest of all of eternity. No, I swear on everything, dude.
Hey, Stephen D, the difference between me and Dade is that I started to like the Lakers when we were losing, not when they started winning games and championships.
And I rooted for LeBron since his high school days. Like I fell in love with NBA because of LeBron James. I was always a college basketball guy before then.
Hey, Steven, let me ask you a question. This Allen Iverson guy, Wembayama, what Crypto Don's the 7'5" Allen Iverson. Do you think he has more hype, or you think he could be potentially coming into the league? We don't know what his career is going to be, right? He needs to put on some weight.
Here's my problem. Anybody giving the moniker of Allen Iverson is disrespectful to Allen Iverson, because I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm not saying Allen Iverson is top 5 all time. He's not. He's probably top 20 all time. But there was only ever one Allen Iverson. Like, name another player that was as good. Did what he did in the NBA. Nobody else.
Nobody.
That man has some of the best crossovers.
You know what Kobe always said? If Allen Iverson was 6'6" or 6'7", he could be possibly the greatest player ever. Kobe used to say that.
And
if Iverson was taller,
that's true.
I agree with it. I think that's a factual statement.
Well, he was only like 6'1".
I don't care what Kobe say. Kobe ain't the best. He handing out awards.
That's why Jimmy Butler emulates him.
I seen him do Jordan ass.
Really? Or was that Jason? Hey, Bones. First of all, Bones. So I know you're not gonna let these boys keep jumping me up here when I'm in the right.
No. That's why I came up here, Dave, just to let them know they some trash.
I appreciate you, bro, because we up here lying to our fan base.
Y'all some trash fans, man.
Let's get back
y'all
to
boys are upset because I'm loyal to my team.
I don't even know if y'all real Dolphin fans. I don't even know if y'all real Dolphin fans now. Y'all
put a shirt on, bird chest.
Let's get back to Tua.
Don't worry about me, guys. Don't worry about me.
He said you got baby hair on your chest, Lewis.
You trying to show his little nipple dips?
Hey,
let's get back to Nuggets and 6.
Let's get back to Tua. The Dolphins are gonna win this AFC.
Hold on, Batman. Because this dude just said some dumb shit about the daggone Nuggets and 6. Boy, rearrange your statement, boy.
Nuggets and 6.
Ian Baller don't know.
4.
Don't let him.
He was just rooting for Boston, so nobody ain't stung him.
I wasn't rooting for anyone. I've been rooting for the Nuggets the entire time because I picked them to win the entire thing.
You know damn well once LeBron retires.
I don't know. I was just making up something here.
Exactly. You don't know what fan I am of a team in basketball.
And I don't give a damn. You ain't a Miami Heat fan.
Hey, Greg.
I agree with that. I'm not, but I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan.
Greg, what's up, buddy? How are you? How are you doing, Greg? How are you feeling?
Hi, Steven. How are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. I've been sleeping during the show.
I don't like Jimmy Butler no more. They said we look alike.
Look, here's the real reason. I couldn't take the heat of you guys talking trash about LeBron for the week, so I took a week off. That's what the real reason was. Now you guys know. As long as you guys know that, that's the real reason.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look, that's sad, bro. Y'all can dish it out, but y'all can't take it. That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
That's
crazy.
They gonna take it like a woman taking some meat. They all gonna take this.
Whoa,
Hey,
Bones. We got kids.
Where all that coming from?
Hey, pull that broom up. Hey, get that broom.
Y'all gonna take this. I don't want to hear that.
We didn't hear that.
Hey, Batman, dislodge. Have the Lakers fans dislodge the broom from the person?
Listen, all I'm gonna say is at least we ended the Golden State dynasty. That's all.
Hold up. The one thing the Lakers did was they didn't disappoint their fans. They didn't take the Nuggets to Game 7 and lose that bad. That's the one thing the Lakers did. They just took the sweep like gentlemen.
For those of you who don't know, Greg is a Celtics fan.
Oh, no, the Lakers got swept. They definitely disappointed everyone.
No. They didn't disappoint their fans. They took the sweep. They didn't do what the Celtics did. Got everybody go down 0-3. Get everyone to go to Game 7 and get pulled out at home.
Greg, you're still hurt about it, aren't you?
The Lakers gave the Nuggets extra rest.
Hey, but you know what?
Try the car.
I told y'all that was an all-star game. Y'all don't listen.
Greg, you have to be you got to be happy for our boy Nicky Smokes, though. If
yes, I am. That's the one good thing that came out of that game was Nicky Smokes getting a job at Barstool. I'm so happy. Congratulations.
Yeah, I can't lie. Now that was dope. I ain't gonna lie. That was dope.
Yeah, shout out to Nicky.
So let's all clap it up for my Miami Heat for giving Nicky Smokes a job.
Nicky Smokes and Frank the Tank watching Dolphin games are gonna make my Sunday nights whenever the Dolphins lose. I'm just saying. Obviously the Dolphins aren't losing.
Are you expecting the Dolphins to lose, Greg?
No!
What's up with you, man?
We're going 17-0.
I mean, I hope you're right.
Talk to him, Greg. Talk to him.
That's cap. That's cap.
That's cap.
No, you got to count the playoff wins and the Super Bowl wins, not just 17-0.
Greg, what do we have though? What do we have on our team? Man. What do we have on our team in the Dolphins? What do we have?
We have Tua. We got Austin Jackson. We got Noah Igbenogany. We got Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard.
That boy just bring up Iggy.
Boone Baker.
You just throwing in Iggy.
We got Liam Eichenberg.
Steven, stop hating. Hey, Greg, you know Igbenogany got bombed by
and Steven, and we got Dan, the real Dan, the man.
Dan
Feeney got burned in practice by somebody who ain't even making the team.
Why are we boasting up backups?
In the meanwhile, he's
why are we boasting up backups?
Real
what
talk,
are we doing?
If Dan Feeney ends up playing any sort of like time, I'm breaking out the Boy Meets World Feeney. I'm telling y'all right now, that's what I'm gonna be saying every Sunday. Let that man play and let that man be any close to being good. Because I will be Feeny.
I already said it, Steven. If that man balls out, I'm gonna be Dan Feeney for Halloween. I got the hair ready. I'm getting the mustache down pat. I'm gonna be Dan Feeney for Halloween. Yep.
I ain't mad at you.
If
get the beer can ready and smash it on your head.
Let's do it.
Mr. Feeney.
You know what I want? You know what I want, Steven? I want Noah to get traded so Dan Feeney can wear number 9. Offensive lineman with number 9. I want Feeney with 9.
I don't like that the NFL got
seeing how that's against the
they can't do that. Yeah, they can't do that for offensive linemen.
So look, I think it's cool that people can wear 0 now. Don't get that twisted. I do like that. But some of these number rules are just stupid.
Yeah, I agree. It's not college, it's the NFL.
I know, I agree.
It was weird seeing Ingram wear a single number.
I know, it was like he's a linebacker. Why is he wearing a single number? He's
a linebacker / edge. It was weird.
Yeah. Where
I don't like Chubbin too either.
We're number 50 something.
But I like Jalen Phillips in 15 though. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that, but
it's still a double-digit number, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But bro,
the single number.
Yeah, but
you're just too big to wear. You're just too big to wear number 2, bro.
Who's wearing 0 for us?
Braxton Berrios, I think.
Braxton Berrios is wearing 0.
Yeah, and that's a great number for him.
I like that.
I believe everybody. We got all the single digits already. I think.
Remember when Gilbert Arenas was like the only person in professional sports?
Agent 0.
Agent 0, man.
And didn't Jim Otto wear 00?
Well, you're going way back. That's too far back.
I'm telling you now, they start wearing 00 has always been one of the ugliest numbers ever, bro.
Stop
not wearing that.
Crypto remembers when football was invented and they had leather helmets. What's up, Crypto?
Crypto remembers Greg Ostertag from the UK.
Yeah, he remembers the Princeton and Rutgers game when the first college football game was ever made. He remembers that.
Crypto remembers the
was
Miami
there when
Seahawks.
Jesus was born.
Crypto remembers the Miami Seahawks in the early 60s. That's how old Crypto is.
Miami Seahawks.
We capping now, Steven?
What's up, Crypto?
We capping now. What's up?
Crypto, first of all, where you been, Crypto?
What do you mean where I've been? I was just
on
the tailgate last night.
Man, so nobody do spaces no more. Everybody, man, look, y'all are funny.
What's up, Ron?
What are you talking about? I didn't see no notification for spaces on holiday.
What's up, Steven? What's going, bro?
Man,
it's been spaces
here with these crazy people on the panel today.
Well, now Wednesdays.
It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. I don't see nobody getting kicked off though. Help raise some money for the channel. When people talk crazy, get them off here. Say get out of here for 10 minutes. Be gone. Crypto remembers the first emergence of the Vikings. Man, boys, if y'all got some good Crypto jokes about how old Crypto is, put them in the chat. I'll put them up.
Ain't that old?
Everybody forgets the Vikings were the first to lose 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Crypto says these Bills and Scott Norwood have nothing on the Minnesota Vikings.
Right. Bud Grant, Fran Tarkenton.
They was the first to 4.
Yep. That was some defense, though. That purple people eaters.
You remember Fran Tarkenton? You probably do, Crypto. Stop
Yeah,
lying.
He was the first Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Crypto remembers Sid Luckman.
He was more like Doug Flutie.
Hey, you remember?
Those were videos I watched. I wasn't alive at that time.
Were you?
You were present.
What are you talking about, man? You were alive when Pat Summerall
was live at the game. That's what you mean.
Pat Summerall was playing in the NFL back in the early 40s. You remember that?
He was a Giants kicker.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting back to work, but let's start Wildin' Out Wednesday. I'm calling out Pete. I want to let him know Tua's the chosen one. The tattoo's coming soon.
Yeah, tell him.
Tua is him. Tua, we have a Tua.
Tell him.
The
tattoo?
The chosen one.
Tattoo. Wait, who getting a tattoo?
Who's getting a tattoo?
Wait, who getting a tattoo?
Batman, you can't just walk away.
Tua should get the chosen one tattoo across his left arm with the cross. He has a cross
nah,
already.
bro. You made it seem like UNTP had a
do
bet, bro. I was about to say.
Tua's a big boy. He gets big boy tattoos.
Are you challenging Pete?
He got to get them. He got to get them thick boy tattoos.
Pete. I'm just calling Pete out because he's a Tua hater. I'm calling Pete out because he's a Tua hater.
Hey, Batman, you should bet him a tattoo.
Crypto taught
what was the
James
bet big?
walk on water. God,
I don't know. They can make
Pro
a bet
Bowl?
on Tua stats this year.
Crypto
If he
was there
goes
when
to
baby
a
Jesus
certain
was
level,
born.
I don't care what they make a bet for. Bet him a tattoo. I would love for Pete to be
Crypto
stuck
remembers
with a
the
Tua
Thanksgiving
tattoo.
game, Pilgrims versus the Natives. Now that's bad. Shake.
Yeah, Crypto remembers that.
Crypto was
Hey
around
Lewis,
when
Lewis, can you
people
imagine
didn't
that?
like
Pete
Baz.
with a Tua tattoo? Can y'all imagine that? Wouldn't that be
That'd be
irony?
crazy.
That he
That'd
got to
be
walk around with that the rest of his life? Hey,
Crypto
somebody
He's got to
bet
get
him a
the
Tua tattoo.
he's got to get the tattoo of Tua doing the wink.
I wouldn't even he don't got to put Tua face on him. That's weird.
No, he's
But
got to get
at
Tua's
least his
face on him
name,
winking. He's got to get Tua's
at least
face
his
on his
name.
chest winking at him.
Oh man, I would love if this man had to have a Tua tattoo.
Crypto, we thought you ran from the smoke. We thought you
I
left.
had a phone call. Stop it. You know damn well I ain't running from no goddamn smoke. Hey,
Crypto remembers when
listen.
they invented Brandon Saul Wiener and invented
You
the
know,
grip.
you know damn well I ain't running from no smoke. I bring the smoke, Steven.
You gotta go take a nap.
I own the whole smoke shop. God damn it.
Hey, they in here. They in the chat cooking you, cuz.
Oh, you own a smoke shop, Crypto?
Huh?
Hey,
A
you
verbal.
say you own a
No. It's a virtual smoke shop.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. I was gonna ask you to go ahead and roll me up some of that Boston pack.
Boston pack. I actually thought about owning one. Getting one. They got
So
a lot
the
of them
flare jars
opening up.
already out the window already. No, they shouldn't be. Who in here cussing?
Smoke shops are making money.
I'm about to say,
nowadays.
who cursing?
I didn't hear anybody.
Ain't nobody cursing. Ain't nobody cursing, Steven.
Y'all just trying to make people come out of pocket. Y'all
gotta make me
tighten up.
Crypto still sends smoke signals. Man.
Oh, dang.
Crypto invented smoke and fires.
Crypto, they are all over your
Well, they in here.
They can have fun. They can have fun all they want.
Yeah, Crypto, they boy telling you old as hell.
If you're gonna say I'm old as hell, you might as well say I was here since the beginning of time. Get it right, goddammit.
You run the press conference for us.
I said you were here. I said you were here when Jesus was born.
Yeah, do it live.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Literally everyone's swearing.
And before you ask, yes, we can hear it.
Crypto caused the Big Bang. Wow, Crypto. You caused
Well,
the Big
yeah,
Bang.
that's right. Might as well go back to the very beginning then. The Big Bang.
Crypto discovered America.
Land before time. Damn.
Crypto was the one that parted the Red Sea.
Hey, Crypto.
Well, he said the Big Bang. He already capped it off.
Crypto, what did you do to these people? Oh my God, they got jokes for that man this morning.
Man.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it.
It's all good. He capped it off. He capped it off with the Big Bang.
Crypto's first pet was the pterodactyl.
That means I invented it all then.
Dang.
Crypto has the original copy of the Bible.
Oh, damn.
Nah, I think he wrote the original copy of the Bible.
Y'all don't realize Crypto changed his name? Crypto's Adam, clearly.
Crypto's baby pictures are cave drawings.
What version of the Bible?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. You were there. Was
Crypto was the best man at Adam and Eve's wedding.
Crypto, fight back. Fight back.
He can't. It's too
Hey,
many. It's too many.
I will have to hone in on one of them, Lewis.
Yeah, I'm about to say Crypto. It ain't nobody to. No, Crypto, don't do that. It's too many people, bro.
Crypto made Paul and Abraham's onesie.
Dang. Bro, what? Y'all got jokes I ain't never heard of.
Crypto was there when Tua ran that 4.22 with True Talk live in person.
Oh my God!
I was there too. You're right. I was at that. I was at that event as well.
Boy.
Hey, whoever said that, I love you.
I was there with True Talk. Me and True Talk was in the stands.
Crypto planted.
So True Talk's Crypto's apprentice.
Crypto planted the tree for Adam and Eve.
Man, Crypto,
Well, y'all going in.
What'd you do? What'd you do, Crypto?
Crypto lit the bush on fire that Moses talked to.
And Crypto was
It
the one
wasn't
that
really
placed
a
that
true burning
iceberg.
bush. It was a staged bush. I staged it.
Wow.
And Crypto is the
I
one that
staged
planted the iceberg that sunk the Titanic. Thanks, Crypto.
Crypto created God. Wow.
I won't
That's
go that
big.
far.
Hey, when I came,
That would make me God if I
came
created
in
them.
here though, when I came in here, you guys were talking about New England and 8 over. Or what? Why did that conversation even come up?
About who?
What's that, Lewis?
About New England, about having 8 wins or over or under 8 wins.
Well, the original goal was I was going through the rest, like how the rest of the AFC stacked up against us. So I started with New England. I hadn't even gotten to the Jets or to the Bills yet, and I wanted to get to them. So I guess this is as good as time as any. I'll go with Buffalo.
New England's not winning more than 6 games. All I hear on this radio is when they talk
6
bad about the Celtics, then they talk shit about the Patriots. What's his face? Joe Judge is a clown. That's all they're saying on the radio up here is that guy's a clown. This team, they're talking trash about this team. They're saying there's no success. Maybe it's the media lying to me, but I don't know.
Crypto was the original disciple. Crypto finished off the apple that Eve took a bite from. Man, boy, I ain't never heard these jokes. They are getting in on you. Here's what I think about, just to finish the New England talk. I think their over under is 8. And I would probably pick the under because I just don't see them. They don't have enough talent to win 8 or 9 games.
That's right.
I got New England at 8 or 9. Yeah.
They talk
I got them at 8 or 9 because it's the Belichick factor.
I got it at 7. Belichick hasn't been Belichick since Brady left.
And by the way, that's where
he's got
I'm
a real
at,
offensive
guys.
coordinator, so I'm giving them one more extra win than last year.
If they win 8 games, it's because of Belichick. It's not because of anything else.
Right.
It's because of Belichick's defense. That's
right.
But
There's the Belichick factor, so they'll win more games than last year.
Maybe 6, 7 games. Kraft's going to get rid of him, and he won't break Shula's record. That's all.
Here's the funny part about
Kraft
that
ain't getting rid of him at this stage.
The funny part about that conversation is when I'm talking about the offensive line, right? And I bring up Butch Berry. And everybody, I saw multiple chats today, even this morning. They're like, well, coaches can't block. They can't play the game. But the moment we start talking about Belichick, we're like, oh, yeah, that's an easy 7 or 8 win team because of Belichick. Maybe 9 because of Belichick. Why is it that we can say that with Belichick, but we can't say that for any other coach?
Well, it's just a track record.
Because he's done it before. His track record. He has such a long track record.
So Vegas has their over-under set at 7.5.
A lot of it is defensive schemes.
7.5 is the over.
He's done it a lot of times, Stephen, with a bunch of
Vegas has the preseason over-under for New England at
7.5. I would probably pick the over, but it's right at 8.
I got him around 8. Yeah, I got him around.
I got him at 7, so I would take the under.
Yeah, I got him at 7 too.
The fact of the matter is, let's just move on to another team in the division because we know New England is not on any of the other teams' level.
So we'll go to Buffalo. So here's my thoughts about Buffalo. Buffalo wins football games. They have a top 5 quarterback probably playing in the NFL.
Agreed.
Stephon Diggs opens up that game. They have one of the best offensive lines in the game. I like everything that they do for the most part when it comes to developing a game plan, putting a roster together. I think they've done it the right way the last several years there. Now, here's what I will say. The Leslie Frazier situation is very interesting to me. And it makes me think that there's something within the organization that might be, quote unquote, blowing up. And there might be some turmoil in that. And now I'm reading into something, right? I don't have any inside information. But why would Leslie Frazier leave a team that is, quote unquote, supposed to be Super Bowl contenders? And the only thing that I can take away from it is he doesn't think that they're good enough to win a Super Bowl. And he's like, I'm just going to step out for a year and do exactly what Vic Fangio did. And then the following year, I'll become the hottest commodity as far as coordinator is concerned. And he's right. And he should be. So I think he saw what Vic Fangio did and is like, I can do the same thing. I can sit out for a year, have a year off, and come back and be the hottest commodity the year later. So I'll say this. I don't think Buffalo's going to be as good as they were the last couple of years. But if they figure out a way to get Dalvin Cook, and I'm not saying Dalvin Cook is the X factor, and they stay healthy, I'm just saying having Dalvin Cook in the backfield along with his little brother, and then having Dawson Knox, the guy that they got, plus Stephon Diggs and a couple of other guys, they can still win some football games. But I don't think they're gonna. If I'm honest, I don't think they're gonna be as good as they were last year.
They're not. They're not.
I think at most that is an 11-win team at most.
So Vegas has their over under at 10.5.
Yeah,
that's all. And last year their over under was 12.5.
Yeah,
at the same time last year.
I hate when we always come out and say the Vegas odds. Vegas has had Buffalo winning the leader to win the Super Bowl the past 3 years, and they haven't reached it. Let's stop.
I know, but I'm saying in comparison to where they had them last year.
Ryan, can you look up the last 3 years over unders from Vegas at the beginning of the year for Buffalo, and let's figure out where it ended up being? Because that would be a good indicator.
I mean, for most teams, it's been like within 1 or 2 games.
You hit the nail on the head, Stephen, with the Leslie Frazier thing.
For most teams, it's been like 1 or 2 games.
By a lot of the talking heads, nobody wants to bring that up. But you lose one of the top defensive coordinators in football. Yeah, I understand that McDermott's got defensive experience, but he's going from a head coach. You got to go backwards now. Most of these coaches that run an offense or defense and are also head coaches, they start out that way, and then they delegate the responsibility after the fact. He's doing it backwards. He had a great defensive coordinator, and he was head coach, and now he's got to come back and become the defensive coordinator as well as head coach. Plus, they lost Edmonds. I think they're going to regress a little bit on defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think at the most that team wins 11 games at most, and it's probably 10 or 11. So,
agreed.
I'm not scared of Buffalo, and I don't think that they're going to win the division this year. So that's how I feel about Buffalo. Now let me go to New York. New York's an interesting team, right? There's a lot to talk about when it comes to New York. Can I deny that getting Aaron Rodgers is going to play a factor into this team? No, I can't. It's
all a crapshoot.
I got those numbers for you.
Everything's a crapshoot.
All right, real quick before I go into New York, go ahead, Ryan. Give me the numbers.
In 2020, Buffalo's over under was 9. 2021, it was 10.5. Last year, it was 11.5.
And what did they do? How many wins did they get those 3 years?
So 9 in 2020.
Yeah, 9 was their over.
Oh, they was coming off. 2019. It wasn't as bad. They didn't have a good season.
So what was the numbers that they won the last 3 years?
And so 9 over under 2020, they won 13.
Yep.
They went 13-3. 2021. Oh, now my phone doesn't want to load. Okay. There we go. They won 11-6 in 2021. So they were over by half a game because they were 10.5 2021. And then what were they last year? I don't remember.
They won 13.
Were they 13?
13.
They went 13 again last year.
What was their over under?
Yeah. So 10.5, 11.5 last year.
So they went 2 games over, or 2.5 games over.
So they're averaging 1 game difference each year.
Yeah, I mean
above.
Well, actually,
they never went below or
well, they blew it up in 2020, but they were coming off that really bad year in 2019. So
2019 was a bad year.
I'll say this:
they played horrible.
If I had to guess, this is the year that they don't hit their 10.5. Right? That's their over under 10.5, right?
10.5 are over under the chat. Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. I think they're a 10 win.
They're either going to win 10 or 11 games. So they're either going to be over by half or under by half.
What was it last year for them?
10.5.
They're 11.5 last year.
11.5 last year.
So Vegas dropped them again.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, part of the reason they dropped them, Ron, is because
even though they won 13
got better on defense and offense for that matter, and the Jets got better, and the Jets beat them last year with the worst team. So,
well, I think it also comes down to
that's a division team too, Stephen.
I mean, I agree, and I said
they also watched Buffalo stumble for those last 2 weeks as well.
That Bengals game took a lot of confidence away from people in Buffalo.
All right, so let me go back to New York.
That's what I say. You could be a great regular season team, Stephen, and still not be a true playoff contender. That's what I say. Some teams just got a knack for knowing how to win in the regular season. That's just the nature of
Ask Marty Schottenheimer. Like the Cowboys.
I mean, you can't discount a team that's consistently winning in the regular season, but they crap the bed in the playoffs. That's who they are.
Yep.
You just got to expect that every year, and that's what Vegas does.
So crypto.
So what? You win 13 wins and you don't win. You don't make the playoffs. It's okay, but they not going to the Super Bowl. That's all that matters.
Crypto, I think you bring up a very fair viewpoint. Talking about teams being a playoff team compared to a regular season team, right? Like we can go look at
just
Dallas.
a good regular season team. That's all they are.
However, they
the modern day version. They the modern day version of the Bengals. Of the old Bengals with Marvin Lewis.
I was going to get there. So I was getting to that. I was going to start with Dallas. Go look at Dallas the last several years, right? They won a lot of games in the regular season. Anytime they get to the playoffs, they can't win, right? Go look at the Tennessee Titans. For the most part, up until recent history, but even when they had Jeff Fisher, although Jeff won a Super Bowl with them, for the most part during his tenure there, he would have losing seasons, or he'd have seasons where he'd just get in and couldn't do it. And then the biggest example is Marvin Lewis with the Bengals. Every year that man would win.
Bigger example than Marty Schottenheimer everywhere he went.
They were perennial playoff participants. That's what I call the Bengals.
San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, how about every team that Marty Schottenheimer coached?
That's true, man. He had some bad luck.
That man was the epitome of regular season god.
That fumble.
Yeah, right. Regular season dominance. Exactly. That's why I say that the Buffalo Bills are just a version of those teams. That's how I see Buffalo.
That was the epitome of his career, unfortunately.
Here's a something that I want to bring up.
Contenders, they just play out perennial participants.
I look at Buffalo and I say, look, they're a team that's very well put together, but they don't have what it takes to win it all. And some of the pieces that they had that made them a strong contender, they don't have anymore. And part of that is glue. And the glue was Leslie Frazier. He's not there now. They don't have
Brian Dable too.
Yep, Brian Dable's not there now. I like Sean.
I won't say Brian Dable as much, Ron.
I like Sean.
They won extra 2 games without him.
Yeah, but the offense stat-wise did take a step back last year versus the Brian Dable at offense the year before. And Josh Allen noticeably didn't play as well.
Turned the ball over a lot last year.
Cesar, that's a good one. Crypto was around when Colonel Sanders was a private. Man, that's good. That's good. Crypto was there to witness the first forward pass. God, y'all are
dang, wait, y'all still going? Bro, I just worked like 2 orders and came back and y'all still got these jokes?
They all still and dried out, Dave.
The fact of the matter is, right, I don't care what Vegas says. I don't care really what we say. What we should be doing, right, because it's getting close to the season, I know there's still going to be moves to be made. But when I look at it from the Miami all the way to the Jets, Buffalo and New England in between, Miami has the best roster in this division, and that's how you should be breaking it down. All right? Okay, quarterback, I would say it's Buffalo 1, Miami 2, Jets 3 at this point. New England obviously would be 4. The wide receiver room in my position, Miami is the leading in division in that. Secondary, Miami is leading in that. Defensive line, I would say Miami is leading in that. So, like, the running back room between Buffalo and Miami, okay, that's a push. I would say the Jets probably would.
Hold on. You think the running back room's a push right now?
I'm just saying for the people, I don't.
No, the Buffalo running back room versus our total.
I would say Miami.
The push between who?
Miami.
I mean, the New England running back room is even.
Don't forget the Jets got the kid from last year.
We haven't gotten
that rookie.
I haven't gotten to New York yet. Give me a
minute.
Let Lewis talk about New York before you guys get to New York.
I thought Lewis was compared to all the AFC East teams.
I'm just, that's where I'm at. Comparing roster to roster. That's why I believe
you can't forget about the tight ends. The tight end room counts.
I don't care. Again, there's more. Listen, Miami has the more talented roster in this division, and it's not even close.
I don't think you look at tight ends alone. You got to look at offensive weapons because some teams like Miami's not going to use the tight end as an offensive weapon that much this year. So while other teams will
well, some teams do use it as a weapon. That matters in their offense, though.
But you got to look at the overall offensive weapons. I think adding the receivers and tight ends together Because if you just look at the tight ends alone, yeah, we're not going to stack up at all. But when you look at our receivers and our running backs, we
What it means if that part is the weakest part of our wide receiver room, then that counts against us, not for us.
No. What I'm saying is that if you're comparing the tight ends alone, we're not using our tight ends as an offensive weapon this year.
I get that, but you still
Y'all
have
saying the same thing. Okay,
Gotta
we're at the
complain.
bottom of the
Exactly.
barrel at tight end. We're last, but everywhere else, as a whole,
I don't know, man.
we're better than everybody in the division. Point blank.
All right,
Buffalo's got a better offensive line.
Let me go to New York. Let me go to the Jets.
They got a better quarterback too, and that's
then
it.
we can
And linebacker.
I mean,
too.
sometimes some people's
questionable.
strength could be a weakness. Like the Kansas City Chiefs, they tight end room is so much greater than everybody else that it tips the balance as they whole wide receiver and weaponry core. You can't just discount them.
No, I wasn't discounting. I'm saying you have to look at it as a whole for offensive weapons. You take tight ends and receivers all together and can compare them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people's wide receiver could be such an extreme threat that they can offset other teams' weaponries at the other positions.
All right, let me get into the Jets. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. Get on. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. And most importantly, hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Remember, bans and timeouts are in full effect. Remember, this is for fun. It supports the channel. Enjoy. Don't take it personally. All right, let me get into the Jets. So here's my thought of the Jets. And I'll start out by repeating kind of what I just said a little bit ago as I was starting. I think that Aaron Rodgers gives that team legitimacy, right? Like, I can't deny that Robert Saleh is not a good head coach. The man is legit. I respect Robert Saleh.
Hey, I'll be right back, bro.
I think he's a good coach. Right. I think the defense that they're putting together that's a damn good defense, right? Sauce Gardner. I mean, honestly, all I really need to say is Sauce Gardner, let alone everybody else. Sauce Gardner, in my opinion, I mean, if he's not already top 3 person in the NFL in the secondary, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Holding? And Holding?
Seriously, the man got flagged for holding in DPI more than anybody else.
Let me finish.
But still being ranked at top, then that means they're not counting it against them.
Yeah, and so I think that he's legit, and the defense in whole definitely plays a factor into things. Now, with that being said, there's a reason that team wasn't great last year and didn't put up. And that part of that is the quarterback. Part of that is injuries. Part of that is, do I really think that an aging quarterback who is 95% retired and out the door is going to be the difference maker on that team? I have to be honest, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but I seriously question it. The man was 95% ready to retire. He had his worst year. He had his worst year of his career last year, and he still won football games. Let's not get that twisted, and he had an injury on his thumb that played a part into things. And he had a lot of injuries that he had to deal with. But do I think that Randall Cobb and Alex Lazard and Garrett, who's the wide receiver there, Garrett, whatever, is going to be the difference maker?
Wilson.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson's going to be the difference maker, along with a great backfield that they got with Breece Hall and I forget the So if I'm honest with if I'm honest with myself, I think the Jets are probably an 11-win team. I don't know what their Vegas odds are over and over, but if I had to guess, it's probably in the 10.5 or 11 game range.
That's a reach.
And I probably put them right at 11 wins, maybe 10.
I like the fact.
Let me just say this last thing, but I will not be surprised if Aaron Rodgers craps the bed this year, because he just doesn't have it. I don't think the only reason he came back was to stick it to Green Bay.
That's what I'm kind of glad that everybody's putting all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, because if the Jets were to run the ball and play defense, they would be a dangerous team.
I got a question.
They don't need a great quarterback. They got a great running back room. Their offensive line is much better than ours, and their defense plays well.
I don't know
I
about
wouldn't
the
say
offensive
much
line.
better.
Yeah, I don't.
I'd say on par.
They're getting Vera Tucker back. They're getting Mekhi Becton back. They drafted two linemen. They signed one from Dallas. Their offensive line is going to be pretty damn good, guys.
Yeah, we don't know what Vera Tucker is going to come back and look like. We don't know what Mekhi Becton. They're talking about he was a bust from what if you listen to what the people in New York said. And again, this top line defense. It's funny to me how everybody wants to give this team credit for being a top line defense. They played 8 backup quarterbacks last year. 8.
That was the question right there.
They played 8 backup quarterbacks. I don't know where everybody says this is a top-line defense. I don't think that defense is going to be what they were last year. I believe what Steven said about Aaron Rodgers is correct. I think he's on the decline of his career. And look at the weapons. Is anybody scared with the Miami Dolphins second? And I'm just talking about, I don't care what they do against Buffalo. I don't care what they do against or anybody else. The 2 games against Miami, is anybody scared? You think our secondary is scared of Randall Cobb?
No.
You think our secondary is scared of Alex Lazard? Like, come on, bro. What are we talking about? The Jets are not what everybody's making them out to be. They're not.
And real talk, Randall Cobb would not still be in the NFL if it wasn't.
Like let's not forget.
That's
Let's not forget that Aaron Rodgers beat this Dolphins team with no weapons just last year in Miami.
And again, let's not also forget that when Aaron Rodgers, let's not forget in that same game, Tua Tagovailoa had 3 late turnovers, right? And our depleted secondary he was throwing against, and they only beat us by 6. Let's not make it seem like Aaron Rodgers dominated our. Let's not make.
I wasn't making it seem like he dominated. I'm just.
No,
they played against them.
And again,
I'm telling you right now, if Nick Needham was on the field, if Brandon Jones was on the field, and Byron Jones was on the field last year, we mollywopped the Green Bay Packers. It's not even close.
I'm agreeing with you there. I think that Rodgers, them relying so much on him, is going to backfire on them because like I said, I think their strength is running the ball and playing defense. Even if their defense isn't good as they're being made out to be, Lewis, they still got a top 10 defense. So, if they ran the ball and played defense, that team could win 10, 11 games playing conservative football.
Two things about Aaron Rodgers. One, yeah, he had the worst year of his career last year, but he was still a top 10, top 12 quarterback having the worst year of his career. 2, that man has made a career, a first ballot Hall of Fame career in Green Bay with little to no weapons his entire year and continually doing things himself. So if he's going into New York simply to stick it to Green Bay, that gives him that extra motivation to not mail it in this year. That's giving him that extra motivation to stick it to them harder by playing harder and doing more.
Well, I don't agree though that he didn't have no weapons in Green Bay. The man.
I said little to no.
Okay, well,
he had a few years where he had a couple of weapons.
He had a lot of years. He had Jordy Nelson. He had Donald Driver.
What did any of them do aside from Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams, in my opinion, is the only true weapon he ever had. Look at all those other guys that he had didn't perform anything once they had someone else throwing them the ball.
They were all done.
Hold on.
They were all done.
It's the same thing in New England with Tom Brady, and you had like Deion Branch and all those guys that went and crapped the bed elsewhere, went back to New England, and went right back to where they were playing.
Pete said Randall Cobb had more yards than Braxton Berrios and Cedric Wilson combined. Y'all keep listening to Homer's talk up this team.
You're talking about our one receiver.
I mean, that's a cool story.
Return specialist. Why are you comparing our fifth receiver and a guy that's not even going to be on the roster with Cobb?
I mean, that's a cool story anyway. Don't nobody care about that. That's a cool story. The fact of the matter is, right, that this narrative that Aaron Rodgers consistently, since we want to throw out what Aaron Rodgers was or was not in Green Bay. What he was in Green Bay was a choke artist. Because, again, this is the problem I have with our fan base. if Tua Tagovailoa, right, let's say for instance, had 2 straight NFC or now AFC championship games in Miami, and he would have played the games that Aaron Rodgers had played, we would be killing him. But all of a sudden, we're giving Aaron Rodgers credit. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. No one's trying to deny that. No one's trying to take that away. What I'm saying about Aaron Rodgers, he's the biggest choke artist this game has probably ever seen.
So
when the game means the most, he fails. He chokes.
So they're like the Buffalo Bills.
Let me throw another stat out here for you.
They're meant for the regular season. They're like the Buffalo Bills of the NFC.
Let me throw another stat. Let me throw another stat out here for you real quick. Aaron Rodgers has gone. He went to 1 Super Bowl and won 1 Super Bowl. Correct?
Yep.
That is the only year in his entire career that he had a top 10 defense. The Jets are primed to potentially have a top 10 defense.
Okay. The fact of the matter is, though, the last 2 to 3 years in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers has had a top 10 defense. Was also a top 10 up. Yes, he did. Are you trying to tell me that when he
the only year he had a top 10 statistically ranked top 10 defense was the 1 Super Bowl year.
Okay, where was he ranked the year when he played Tom Brady and the Buccaneers at home in the NFC Championship game? Where were they ranked defensively that year?
I don't know. What year was that?
2020,
right?
2021, I believe. Or no,
21 or was that 20?
No, 2020.
Yeah,
you're right.
That was the COVID
year. Yep, it was the COVID year. You are correct.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm going to look it up, but I've gotten into this argument before, and I've had to look it up in the past, and I know that they were not top 10.
Okay, that's fine. Let's say they're top 12. Let's say they're top 15. Let's say they're middle of the pack.
A large chunk of his time, his defense has been middle of the pack. Top 12, top 15, top 20.
Oh, okay.
He had top 10 defense one time. Okay. They were actually like the 3rd or 4th ranked defense in the league that year, and they won. And he won the Super Bowl.
Okay, and I just told you, though, we're making it seem like the Jets are going to be this top 10 defense. I don't believe they are. Because
I don't believe they are either, but they have a lot of talented players, and Robert Saleh if nothing else, is a good defensive coach. So they do have potential to have a good defense.
And all I know, we have the potential to be a very good defense because we also have Vic Fangio and a lot of great players. I would say our defensive players are better than what they are in New York. You would agree with that?
I'd agree with that.
Top to bottom, I would agree with that.
Right. So why would I be scared about Aaron Rodgers that couldn't get the job done in Green Bay with a great 2-headed monster running back in A.J. Dillon and
because he had incredibly poor offensive play calling that didn't ever actually properly utilize their running game.
That same play calling.
Is he going to have better play call? Yeah.
I don't know.
He went and got Hackett. They got the same play caller.
What are we talking about here?
Hackett was not the play caller. Hackett was his quarterback coach. Hackett didn't call plays. Hackett was the quarterback coach when he was in Green Bay. He was not the offensive play caller or the offensive coordinator.
Okay, this is the problem right here. Nobody was saying that Matt LaFleur, that was the play caller then, right, was a bad coach when they were going to NFC Championship game. He only became a bad play caller then when Aaron Rodgers choked the game. That's when we see. This is the problem with our society.
So
we
I
blame the
gotta
coaches
tell you,
instead of blaming the goddamn players.
I hear it from a different perspective from a lot of people because a large chunk of my mom's side of the family are all live in Wisconsin. So I hear constantly from them the actual narrative of the Green Bay fans out there. And they have been saying all along on talk radio out in Wisconsin that Matt LaFleur is not a good head coach and not a good play caller and was not giving this team the best chance to win. They've been saying it since his first season, even though he overachieved according to the mass of the rest of the NFL viewers. According to the fans of that team, he was not good. And they've been looking at him like that since he got there.
But that's the problem with the fan. That's the same thing, Ryan. I believe this, Ryan, that we're doing in Miami. We blame the coaches. Again, the fact of the matter is, right, we weren't better last year, and this is from Miami. We weren't better last year because Tua Tagovailoa couldn't stay healthy. We weren't better last year because the players couldn't stay healthy. We always blame Brian Flores. It was Josh Boyer. It's Christopher Greer. Well, goddammit, this is a simple question I just have. How many passes have you seen Chris Greer throw? How many tackles did you see Mike McDaniel miss? It's the players. That's what we do as fans. They can tell you what they want about Matt LaFleur. Nobody's blaming Matt LaFleur when those guys are going to NFC Championship games. But then when they lose that, now he can't coach. No, the fact of the matter is that in that game or those games, Aaron Rodgers didn't show up. The Aaron Rodgers that was the MVP of the league during the regular season didn't show up in those playoff games. But now we want to blame the coach. It's stupid, man.
I'll be honest. This is this conversation I hate having because we did this exercise with the Chiefs last year, and we all know how that turned out when we were supposed to be the better roster than them. This is why I hate having these discussions at this point in the year.
I'm gonna say to Lewis' point.
Hold on, the crypto. I apologize, Rashad.
Go ahead.
Crypto. The problem with that last statement is
it's not a problem. We did have this discussion. We was vigorously arguing how much better we were than them when it came to our wide receiver room, our running back room.
Last year,
everybody last year was saying it was the same arguments being made. Y'all were even saying that Chiefs weren't even gonna make the playoffs. Stop it.
Nobody said that dumb.
Y'all was you was the one that said the Raiders was gonna win that division, and the Broncos were gonna win that division.
Hey,
so you didn't give the Chiefs no room.
I said that.
Well,
I thought
nobody thought Russell Wilson was going to crap the bed like he did.
I did. I called.
They didn't exactly, Ryan. That's the point. Everybody was downgrading the Chiefs automatically, and they saw what the Broncos did in their upgrades and what how the Raiders looked on paper.
The Broncos would be in last.
I said the Broncos would be one of the worst teams in the NFL last year.
He called that.
Okay, I'm talking about the Raiders, but the Raiders you put ahead of the Chiefs.
So I'm not 100%. I apologize. I got something wrong, but I'm telling y'all on everything that I said Denver would be one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. And my thought process of why Vegas should have been was on point. It just wasn't. It was Josh McDaniels. It did not work out that way. Like Josh McDaniels.
Because Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach.
He's not.
But you said the Raiders was going to win the whole thing in that division, Steven.
Before we get too off of it, hold on, Shake Money, because Lewis made a good point. And someone tried to argue. I don't know who it was. The Packers fans blame Matt LaFleur, but they didn't blame him when he won all those games. Right. When he was consistently getting to the NFC Championship.
No, they were questioning him constantly about his play calling.
The play calling
just like we were doing all last year, questioning Mike McDaniel on a lot of play calling errors that he made. They were all doing the same. They were doing the same thing to LaFleur in Wisconsin.
No, it wasn't all year last year for McDaniel. It was towards the end of the season.
But yeah, the second half of the season, whatever. Like, but it's the same thing.
Quick question for everybody: how many times have we seen a big name, successful quarterback go to a different team and win, other than Tom Brady?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
That wasn't for Peyton Manning, guys. Come on, you remember his arm was shot.
But still, he did it though. He won it all. He won it when it mattered. He managed to when it mattered.
Because Peyton Manning did get
went to
benched that
Baltimore,
season.
was co-NFL MVP, and probably would have done more had he not been murdered.
There's people that did it.
Okay.
Kurt Warner almost did it with the freaking Cardinals. Stop it.
Yep.
The point I'm trying
it's happened before.
Okay, I know it's happened before. I just said Tom Brady. My point I'm trying to make is,
but you making this Brady is the only one.
Let him make his point.
Not the only one.
No. Let him make his point, Crypto. Because I know what he's saying.
Expect the quarterback to come in and be the savior, and that's not always going to be the case. In fact, it's probably less of the case.
It's rarely the case.
Then they win because again, you got to acclimate yourself to a new team. You got a new offensive scheme. You got all different players. You're in a new city. Aaron Rodgers only dealt with Green Bay media. He's never dealt with the media in New York. I can't imagine him having a bad game, having to face 150 reporters in his face.
Dude, if I to tell you how the Green Bay media is, the New York media is no different.
No,
it's not like he never been on the Dan Labertard show and faced the music before.
That's a good point. Aaron Rodgers will be every week. He will have a clip out of him.
But Aaron Rodgers is at a different level of celebrity
to New York
than the normal Green Bay quarterback.
Yeah,
He's been
I mean, come on, don't let the media crap
already.
Be the reason why y'all thinking that Aaron Rodgers play on the field has changed. The media don't dictate his play on the field.
Aaron Rodgers talks crazy to the media, and New York media talks crazy to players. You think that they're going to switch up?
It's just to be a battle royal. It's just to be every week confrontation. That's all it is.
Now look,
I mean, he deals with the conservative media in freaking Green Bay. He'll deal with it in New York.
Aaron Rodgers
now
to the Green Bay.
Hold on though. You bring up. You're bringing up the fact that it's a rarity that quarterbacks go from long careers on one teams and move on as older veterans and have success. But to that point, it's actually a rarity that happens in general. It doesn't happen that often. It's happened a lot in these last like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. But prior to that, it's not that common of an occurrence. So if you were actually to go back and look at the number of those veteran quarterbacks that have had successful 10-year, 15-year careers on one team and then went and finished up elsewhere, I would say, I mean, without actually looking at the research and counting them all out, I would say more of them than not had success in doing it.
I would have to disagree with that.
And what's like get selective amnesia and forget about Matthew Stafford just recently?
Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
You can find exceptions to the rule of every.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, this is a circular argument.
I mean,
either way, it don't work. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't.
Even Brett Favre, like he failed in New York, but he also played the second half of the season with a torn bicep, and then he went to the NFC Championship game and had his best statistical season of his career in Minnesota the following year. So, I mean, it happens more often. I would argue it probably happens more often than not without actually going in and digging into each individual. Like the biggest glaring example of it not happening was Joe Montana.
And Ryan,
not having the same success.
We're going to the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, he went to the playoffs still with them.
Yeah, we
took them to the playoffs.
Ryan, here's the problem. Here's the problem with cherry picking your example, and not you per se, but just people in general. The problem with cherry picking any example to fit the narrative is there's going to be as I just said, exceptions to the rule of everything. B, there's in sports, you can find a case to support how you feel about that for everything. If you say, hey, look, a veteran a quarterback coming off his worst statistical year, you put him in a different environment, he's either going to succeed or fail. I mean, of course, he's either going to succeed or fail. But the reality of the situation is you start looking at things. I'll tell you why I made the prediction I did last year for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had, over the last several years, he was one of the most sacked quarterbacks. That last year in Seattle, the team was not around him. He didn't have support of the coach. He didn't have support of the player.
Broke his finger.
Well, I mean, look, that did happen, but that last year in Seattle, he just was not good at all. And I said, there's no way that he goes to Denver.
So
I had a lot to come back from the middle of the season with a broken finger that skewed his stats negatively.
And in this situation, though, it feels to me like, for this specific argument, it feels to me that the cherry picking is happening on the ones who didn't have success, because I'm not naming just the only ones that had success. I'm naming the first ones that are coming to mind, and it just so happens they've all had success.
Ryan, do you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good year this year in New York?
It's questionable if he has a good year this year or not, but I think that if he sticks out for 2 years in New York, he'll have a good year next year for sure. And I do think he's probably going to end up having a better year this year than he had last year. I think he'll play better this year than he did last year.
Well, Steven, you just admitted that he's going to have a good season, but by giving him 11 wins.
So by
definition, that's a better year than last year.
They were what were they?
You just admitted to it.
No, Crypto.
6-7 wins last year.
Here's
right.
Here's what I said, and this goes back to what I said in previous weeks when the signing occurred. I said he is the best quarterback to play for the New York Jets post Joe Namath. He's the best quarterback.
He's better than Joe Namath.
Yeah, he's better than even Joe Namath.
Joe Namath wasn't even a good.
He's now the best in the franchise.
Get rid of that now.
Fine. So let's go with that scenario. He's the best quarterback to ever play for the Jets. But
if you think he's better than Brett Favre, yeah.
I mean, he was in Brett Favre's year with the Jets. I'm talking about anybody who played with the Jets for the Jets and just their tenure with the Jets. He will be the best quarterback they have ever seen. With that being said, I don't know if I still think he's on the decline of his career rather than the upside. And
B, 20 years in.
I don't think at the end of the day that Alex Lazard and Randall
We won't know until after this year.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just telling
minor
you.
pullbacks in once in 20 year happen, just like a stock when it has a minor pullback before the trends back upward.
Here's the thing. It's easy for everybody to sit here and say, "Oh my God, the Jets are going to be this great team this year." You know, Aaron Rodgers is a former MVP, he's a former a Super Bowl winning quarterback,
4-time MVP.
That's fine. It's so easy to say that. What's not easy to say is, hey, look, I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be bad, but I don't think they're going to be as like. I just don't see more than 11 wins from this team. I don't.
But that's way better.
No one's saying they're going to win more than 11 games. That's just better than the 7 that they won the previous
11 is
season.
a reach.
It
won't be
and
no
11
big
is
walk.
not a reach.
What I said.
That's a reach.
They won collectively 7 games with a bunch of crap full of quarterbacks
They played
and
8
injured
backups,
players.
Crypto.
I would be more
Crypto. They played 8.
I don't go with the
backup.
8 backup crap. First is 7, now it's 8. Next is going to be 17. Which one is it? I don't go with the 8 backups crap because we can say the same thing that our offense played a bunch of backup defenses and secondary defenses.
That's true.
That's a dumb argument to use.
It's not fucking dumb. They play
because people turn around and use it against us and say we played a bunch of backup second string defenses and weak defenses that strengthen our freaking offense.
Crypto. I got a question. When they say it versus the Dolphins, do you take it into account? We all do, don't we?
What was that?
We take it into account that we played Buffalo's second string team in week 3. We take that into account. Why won't we take
but everybody keeps bumping up our offense like we made that great leaps and bounds, but they're going to say, well, we played a bunch of third stringers and bottom of the barrel defenses.
We didn't play a bunch, but the ones that we did play,
we played a gaggle full where we can rack up the numbers.
It's
the same thing. You can only play who you play on the field. That's why that's a dumb argument to use.
Listen to what I'm saying, Crypto.
Because they're going to flip the script and say we played a bunch of weak defenses during the time of the season when they was 3-11 at the time we played them.
Crypto, let me get this out to you. Please let me get this out to you because you're not hearing me. When it comes to the Miami Dolphins, we're going to discredit everything that they do. We're going to find an excuse to how they did it, why they did it, how it was possible, who was out, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to everybody else, now it's, oh, no, I don't want to do that because we do that for the Dolphins. Well, if we're going to do it to the Dolphins,
I'm consistent. I don't do that for us. I'm just saying people would turn around and do the same thing.
Okay.
But I'm just saying they would do that when you come out there and say they're playing a bunch of 7th-string or second-string quarterbacks.
Says if the
when the other 10 quarterbacks they played wasn't second-string.
Hold on, Rashad. If the Dolphins had moved down from 2 and brought in Rodgers, Steven would have had the Dolphins penciled in the Super Bowl.
That's a fact.
Yep.
I got us in the Super Bowl right now, but a lot of other people would. I agree.
I think
no way in hell, Stevie, you wouldn't be saying we wouldn't be penciled in the Super Bowl.
Here's the reason why I'm thinking. I'm thinking because I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is the X factor of why that would be. I think I feel like we're already a Super Bowl winning team now. So why would I not think that with a quarterback that is a lot more?
But the national view would be the same thing in that regard, whereas it's not with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets because our skill positions are better.
Who the hell gives a shit what the national
and the
media?
Skill positions. I didn't say the national media. I said the national overall. So the national media, the national fan base, and everyone would be looking at Miami differently than they're looking at the Jets.
They win in the regular.
Hey, Steven, I got a question. How many times did we play the Jets 17 times this year?
No,
because we are like this because if we beat them twice, they don't have an ability to beat everybody, beat up on all the other teams outside the Dolphins. That's what make great regular season teams.
Couldn't beat them twice last year. They didn't have a quarterback. Couldn't even.
No, I'm just saying. I'm giving us 2 wins against. Let's hypothetically and put our fanboy coats on and say we beat them twice. So what? Big fucking deal. Doesn't mean that they're not going to freaking run the table outside the division, have an 80% winning percentage outside the Dolphins.
We didn't have our quarterback for either game against the Jets either.
You missing the freaking point. You guys are acting like we played them 17 games. We don't. We only play them twice. But the most we can beat them is twice.
Crypto, here's the reason, though. people are hyped up about the Jets. They think that Aaron Rodgers is going to automate.
So what? Let them be hyped up about their team.
Let me
I'm
ask
gonna say look at the Jets schedule before y'all predict the level.
Hold on, Crypto. Hold on, Rashad. Crypto, I'm asking you this. Okay, I want yes or no questions. Okay, you listening, Crypto?
I got you. I'm just
okay. If Zach Wilson was still on the Jets, would they be a Super Bowl contender?
If Zach
Wilson, if he was the starting quarterback, would they still be Super Bowl contenders?
No.
Would they be playoff contenders if he was still their quarterback?
You meant all 17 games? Probably not.
Okay, all right.
They was in it until 2 games left to go in the season. So I can't. Who knows?
So with that being said, the Dolphins with Tua are Super Bowl contenders, are they not?
Yes.
We're not Super Bowl contenders until we start winning playoff games, Steve.
So we're playoff.
I'm just being honest.
As long as he's healthy.
That's fine. We're playoff contenders,
right? We have high playoff odds.
Okay.
Super Bowl odds.
Right. That's the way to phrase it, Rashad.
But people want me to believe that Aaron Rodgers is enough not only to make them playoff contenders, but legit Super Bowl contenders in a stacked AFC, which, by the way, they have to play a very similar schedule to us. It's not like they're playing.
They play a third place schedule.
We're not the only good team.
We play a second place schedule.
But that brings up my point.
Schedule has the Cleveland Browns, the Kansas City.
Just like when we were 1-15, Steven, we immediately went 11-5 because we played a fourth place schedule.
They play the Cowboys. Look at this schedule for just 11 wins. Y'all got to look at that schedule.
But nobody's saying the Jets are Super Bowl contenders with Aaron Rodgers. They're upping them to
right.
playoff.
We're not saying they Super Bowl contenders.
They're not. Nobody's saying
I'll take 9 wins.
But put Rodgers in Miami, and everybody is saying Miami's Super Bowl contenders.
That's because we're homers. That's what we do.
And a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers' status elevates a team to the next step up. The Jets are not playoff contenders without him. They are playoff contenders with him. Miami are playoff contenders without him. So with him, they would be elevated to Super Bowl contenders. It's just the basic.
Nothing goes up in a straight line, Steven. Things pull back, and then before it goes back to its original trend. Nothing goes up in a continuous straight line.
Has went to one Super Bowl and won one Super Bowl.
Once again, Ron, that's a dumb argument to be using when we voided a Super Bowl in 50 years. I advise you to stop using that as a fan.
I think Tua's got just as much.
Man, that's a good ass argument.
I think Tua's got just as much of a chance.
No, the hell it ain't. Not if we ain't got no goddamn Super Bowl in the last 50 years.
Why is that not a good?
Well, you about to get one right now.
Well, get one then. Fine, let's find a roof for one. Don't say it as if you have one.
Crypto, you're at $6. You're at $6. Crypto, I gotta put you in the back. You're over $5. He said Robert's at 1, Ron is at 1, Rashad's at 0, Crypto's at 6. Noob, I hereby declare Noob the new swear jar mediator. I have given Noob a new title. Y'all better be watching out because Noob is keeping receipts. Dade is at 1, he said. All right, here we go.
It just don't make no sense to me. I really don't. I don't get it.
Noob cat.
Wait. How am I at 1? I ain't even been up here for like 30 minutes. How am I at 1?
You cussed at least one time.
When?
All I can say is Nuba's counting for me is right. I swore once.
And trust me, Robert usually fights me on
Noob, are you sure? I ain't even been talking.
I don't remember.
Like how?
How nobody getting timed out yet with these horrid takes and Crypto yelling at everybody. Yep, I agree. By the way,
that's what Crypto does. Welcome to the show. Crypto yells at people. Welcome.
Thank you, Noob. All right, well.
Y'all acting like y'all don't know Crypto by now. Crypto yells, bro. It is what it is.
So who's going to be?
But at the same time, explain to me how I curse when I ain't been talking for the last 45 minutes. How?
Noob answered your question in the chat. Go ahead, Ron. What's your question?
Who's going to be the surprise team this year, like Jacksonville was last year?
In the AFC?
Yeah.
I'm going through all the AFC. Give me a second. Probably the surprise team will be. Everybody's going to laugh at me for saying this, but you asked the question, so I'll put it out there. I think Vegas is going to win some games with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think it's
Here we go.
I think it's.
I know.
You ain't learned your lesson last year, apparently. But okay.
I know.
Hey, wait, and then Jimmy Garoppolo, didn't some news just come out that he didn't even pass the physical? So
he had to sign a waiver for his physical. But if Garoppolo is healthy,
what about Houston?
Cleveland.
I think no, not with CJ Stroud.
Too early for Houston.
D'Amico Ryan's becoming the new head coach. That
couple more years
to take a step up.
Houston will be decent next year. They won't be that
good. Has a great roster.
I think CJ Stroud was the best quarterback coming out of the draft this year.
But that was not saying much. Next year he would be the 4th or 5th.
I think Cleveland's going to be dangerous. Deshaun Watson's got a year under his belt now. He's been back on the
Deshaun
field.
Watson is trash. Nothing happened in Cleveland.
No, so Jimmy G's not clear. You are correct, but he signed a waiver, so that's all taken care of. So as long as he passes his next physical option, which will be whenever, he'll be able to play. So if you're asking me, as long as Jimmy G's healthy, I think that they're going to be decent. Steelers, Cesar says that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, look, Steeler fans are not very optimistic on what's his face, Kenny Pickett. They're not.
More concussions than Tua.
Yep, more concussions than Tua. That is true.
I think Cleveland's got a good defense and a good running game. If Watson plays,
Cleveland's going to Cleveland. That's the only certain in NFL football ever is that Cleveland is going to Cleveland.
Same thing about the Jets, man. Come on, Jets are going to do the Jet thing. I mean,
Seattle's not going to be a surprise team.
You can't say the Jets are going to Jet though, like Cleveland's going to Cleveland. The Jets have gone to AFC title games this century, more than one. They've gone to multiple AFC title games this century. Like the Jets have done stuff. Cleveland has not. Cleveland will continue to just be Cleveland.
I just have one question. Why do you have such a hard-on for the Raiders there, Steven? Are you a closet Raiders fan?
No, I am not.
Are you sure?
No, I think that.
I know. We need to check this, Steven.
No, I'm answering your question. There's just last year I was really excited because I thought that Derek Carr was going to come back. He was going to have a really good year, and I liked them getting Devontae Adams, and they had Darren Waller. And I understand they lost Darren Waller this year. He goes to the Giants, and Derek Carr leaves, and Jimmy G comes in. But I think we're going to see how good of a quarterback Jimmy G is on his own merit without being.
I think all that stuff with Ruggs hurt them emotionally last year.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that played a part into it. But if you're asking me, are they going to beat Kansas City? No. But I think they're good enough to beat almost all the other teams in the AFC or in the AFC West. They're good enough to.
So what 7 teams from the AFC are making the playoffs?
Oh, I mean, way too early predictions off top of my head.
I won't tell you for it.
Way too early. Don't hold me to it. I'm gonna say Kansas City, Miami, New York Jets. Jacksonville Jaguars. Nobody else from the AFC South makes it. I'm struggling with the.
What about the North?
I'm struggling with the Chargers, but let's say the Chargers. What is that, 4 right there?
Nobody from the North yet, Steven.
I'm gonna go.
I think they're at 5.
Ravens. Ravens is 6. Ravens will win their division, by the way. Pittsburgh, I think this is the year they don't make the playoffs. I still think they'll have a winning record, but don't make the playoffs. Cleveland's not going to make the playoffs, and Cincinnati. There we go. There's 7. So Cincinnati and Baltimore. There's 2 from the AFC North. New York and Miami, 2 from the East. Kansas City and probably the Chargers, 2 from the West. And then the AFC South will be Jacksonville. There we go. There's all your playoff teams.
Surprised you left the Bills out.
I think they're going to have a down year. I do. But to be fair,
I think we have a better.
But if I'm honest with myself, let's say 3 teams from the AFC East make it, that's fine. Then the Chargers will be the one left out.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a better shot of 3 going from the East than the Chargers.
Yeah.
Want to talk about choke artists? There's your choke artist.
Yep, there you go.
And this is the year Lamar Jackson has to put up or shut up. They got him all the tools that he needs. You know, they can't complain about not having weapons. If he doesn't do it this year, then you gotta look in the mirror.
The man has already put up and shut up without weapons, though. So I hate
by the
that.
way, I'm not saying that the Bills are not going to make the playoffs or going to be a strong team. They're just not going to be a win football team.
So, Lewis, I have a little bit of pushback for you on that. He's not done anything in the playoffs whatsoever.
He's taking his team to the playoffs.
All right, if that's your bar, sure. But he's never won a playoff game. He's not been an MVP for a few years.
He has won one playoff game, and again, the objective is to win the Super Bowl. And the only way you do that is by making the playoffs. And he's consistently had the Ravens in the playoffs.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I just don't have faith in him when it comes down to it.
All right, guys, go on mute. Go on mute.
I'm just saying, we all have faith, me included now this year, of Tua Tagovailoa. We all have that faith.
On mute,
the fact of the matter is, to Ron's point, what he was trying to
There's
make.
a lot of ice in this room, but
Lamar Jackson never had a team around him.
We are the best media contingent in all the NFL. We actually hang out together.
Finally, we agree on something.
Like obviously, no 2 players are alike, but generally, with the skill set that was lost with Mike Gesicki, in terms of a seam thread at that size, someone who can rise in the red zone to catch, who on this roster do you think can compete to fill that role? What names come to mind?
No, there's you're hitting on something that there's some opportunities within the offense to put your imprint on your career and for this team. I wouldn't say it's just tight ends, but really all skill receivers. There's a lot of competition. So the really as the head coach of the team, I'm most excited to see who wins it because it is as organic as one could make it. There's several capable candidates to catch some balls really and be an impactful part of this team. I would say at all the offensive skill positions, and the proof is in the pudding. You go out there to practice, and there's a good amount of talent. So for me to say that I know who that's going to be would be being way ahead of there's some sort of saying that I'm looking for. Boom, Barry still got it. I think there's a lot of young players, some veterans that recognize the opportunity and really going after it.
Like it looked like Tua had one of those little helmets on his counters on his helmets. Can you tell us about the benefits for that relative to you guys working together on progressions and whatnot?
Oh, so that's a tool that has been around in the league and in different avenues and different organizations. I can remember since the teens of the 2000s, and for us, it's multifaceted. Again, it's not like anything earth shattering. It's a camera, but it does have audio, I think some of the strong attributes of that technology are that you get to hear, play calls. You can library those play calls for players to hear when they're studying. This just in, the National Football League huddles. A lot of college and high schools don't, which means you're taking in information auditorily for the first time with many minimized reps, and then you're not, as opposed to looking at the sidelines for a signal or a picture. So auditory, it's a tool. It's also something that you can, see from his side eye what he's looking at. So for all quarterbacks, it's a tool to help really drive home certain coaching points and just see what they're seeing to be on the same page as the player.
Mike, is there anything in relation to concussions that could help, if any? If seeing his head movement, where it might go, or things that might maybe forecast the play that he might have got himself into last year?
Well, I think preparation is the best thing that you can do for all players in regarding executing your jobs,
Yes,
and while protecting yourself.
Good.
Outside of that, you got to get a hold of one of those see the future cameras. Then it would be extremely helpful if you knew where the players were going to be. But I think for all players, when they are when they're in the right time of their learning process, where it's not too much on the front end where you're swimming in too many variables of information, but when you're ready, added information, added articulation through our problem solving only benefits the player and the team for the ultimate result. So information and tools are not the end all be all by any stretch, but I think it does help us to get or to become really the best football team and best players and the best coaches that we can be, which is really how I see our jobs.
The Dolphins are one of like 4 or 5 teams around the league. They're doing 6 OTAs as opposed to the maximum allowed 10. I'm curious as to
a lot of things factor into it. I think that, by and large, players, coaches, people in general do best when why is explained to them. In this particular situation, I think that it is crucial that we have, is convicted, present, deliberate football players when they're approaching practice, and really recognizing how each opportunity is very, very crucial to the development of the team. I think when you're able to acknowledge players' hard work and they get positively reinforced with actual action, you can. I think it goes a long way. They are afforded the less practices because they've earned it because of the way they've approached the whole off season. My standards for preparation are pretty high, and they've recognized that and really heeded to the expectation across the board. So I think in those types of circumstances, everyone benefits with a little bone here or there.
But you've got a fixture courtside at Miami Heat games, but you're also a Colorado native, and the Denver Nuggets would be your hometown team. So I'm wondering, where is your allegiance going into these?
How did you know that I was courtside?
Everyone can see it.
Oh, I wish I would have known that. It's funny. I will not deny that. I've been a football coach my entire adult life. I was born and raised in Denver. and cheered for the Nuggets forever. Had a fan plan in 1994 that they packaged games, and we picked the package that Jordan was going to play, and he retired. It was my mom's entire bonus. And so, yeah, I've been invested, and they've had a really cool journey. It's a cool franchise, but I'm an only child, and I myself am a father to an only child. So this is going to be totally forecasting, but I feel comfortable doing it because I'm blind. The Kelseys went through it. I imagine it being like a parent with a couple kids where, of course, you love all your kids, but don't you love one more? And realistically, when it comes down to it, the stuff that I've been able to really get access to with the Heat coaching staff led by Spo last summer, getting to know them, following their journey, and getting to know the people, become extremely invested so I don't lose any sleep by saying, you know what, Denver Nuggets, why don't we wait 48 years, not 47? So that's kind of where I stand on that. But really, I think it's really cool. It is odd that you're the two teams you probably follow as close as anything. You're rooting for one, and somebody has to lose. But I'm really excited in particular for just the finals in general, because I think it represents both teams in the finals represent what's really cool about sports, because they have had to scratch, claw, fight tooth and nail to get in the position they're at in their own respective journeys. And so I have no doubt in my mind that both fan bases, both teams, no one's going to take anything for granted. We're going to have elite schematic coaching from both sides. And, you're going to have to earn whatever comes here. So I think from a sportsman perspective, and it's as cool as it gets. And I'm excited to see what the Heat can do.
You go to these games, are you going purely for entertainment purposes, or is there stuff you can bring back from a football perspective to kind of show to the team and relate the two things?
I think there's information in front of us all the time that can be very beneficial to what we do on a day-to-day basis, just in general. Every day, if you're willing to look and listen. So you don't know what is going to come about. But the bottom line is, when you go to those games, you're where would you rather be if you're in professional sports, in terms of you have high stakes, a lot of sweat equity has gone into those moments, a lot more than I still have a tough time imagining how many up and downs and shuttles and how many practices and shoot arounds that basketball teams go through, and how long that season is, and how many practices that hockey teams have to get on the same page. That stuff is what really is impactful for me in those moments. And I think without a doubt, there's great stuff to take away that can be applied in what we're trying to do.
Mike, it was
what
reported
are your
yesterday.
takeaways from your time with Eric Spoelstra? He's still only 52, and yet makes the playoffs very consistently, makes the NBA Finals on a pretty regular basis. What are your takeaways, and what makes him as successful as?
Well, first and foremost, I feel so humbled to be able to have the relationship. I think what screams to me, just the way he runs the program and what they do, is there's a passion for developing players and coaching, and a standard for they believe that they should prepare their players. I feel a true love for who they're coaching and what they're coaching. And I think systematically, when people describe the Heat culture, they're talking about a bunch of individuals that are trying to be great in the game of basketball, players and coaches alike. It's I feel so fortunate. I think he has to be one of the best professional coaches across all sports. And for me to have access to pick his brain, to, he even throws me a handshake after wins. It's unbelievable resource for me in the coaching profession that I feel very, very fortunate to have.
It was reported yesterday that the team is going to be having another set of joint practices with the Texans, specifically, having practice sessions with Coach Noel and D'Amico Ryan. What do you think the team can gain from that?
Yeah, I wanted to break the news to you guys last time I was up here, but gave the opportunity to a friend and somebody I feel fortunate to have coached with and been around for such a long time, in D'Amico Ryans. And he just turned it down like the humble guy he is. So, yes, we pumped about that. That's a young, hungry team that will afford us the opportunity of getting better in training camp. Those type of opportunities are invaluable. It breaks camp up. It gives a little newness to it. It reinvigorates it, but it also, there's only so much scheme that one side of the ball can have. And you get different players that you have to go against, and subtle schematic nuances that are different that really help the players get prepared for preseason and then regular season.
Like things you've noticed about A, Cam Smith so far, and B, Devon. Obviously, speed stands out, but if you wouldn't mind taking each of those two individually.
I think both of them have done exactly what's been asked of them to this juncture, which is, I think it's along the process. There's so much going on for rookies. You forget that you're joining a team that has established players, and you need to make way on that team through the locker room and then the coaching staff, just the building in general. That's what I've seen them focus on, and I can tell they're starting to become one of the guys. You are swimming at this stage, and that's to be expected. But I also see from those two in particular, guys that have a deep down self-confidence that the minor hiccups in the short term aren't really affecting them, which is something you look for in young players, because there's a lot. I mean, you have, it's almost like you're a baseball player. You bat like 30%, or 300 for the the real fan. You bat like 300. That means 7 out of 10 times failure. That's kind of like being a rookie. So so far so good in that. I think you have to win over your teammates before, at least with the Dolphins, before you're able to play with them. And I think they're knee deep in that journey, and I've been happy with what they've produced.
Like they say that for the human brain, moving and starting a new job are two of, I think, the 5 most stressful things you can go through. Obviously, when you get here, you got to hit the ground running, focused on the job. But how have you allowed yourself to acclimate to, I guess, the new environment outside of work?
Man, moving, new job. Wow. No, I think it's been cool to kind of, it's one of the reasons that it's so awesome for me to go to the, all these, to be this fortunate coach of this team, to go to these playoff games. Just my comfort with the entire with all of South Florida. I didn't know what I didn't know, and there's so many things that this place has to offer, and it is night and day. Like now, it feels like home. Last year you don't even know where you're at. So that there's a ton of stuff that's allows you to do your job more efficiently and more focused on the task at hand. So it's been an awesome off season that's been filled with work, with a little sprinkle of husband dad time that has been outstanding. And I know my daughter is she's really excited to play all day, which that's what I'll be doing for my break. But there's a lot of work to be done before that.
Just to follow up real quick. You said it's starting to feel like home. Was there a moment you have in mind where you kind of were able to stop and realize, wow, yeah, this is home now?
Well, it's hard not to feel that way with the amount of support. I've said it before in the past. I didn't really know the strength of South Florida fans and the really the sleeping giant that I kind of walked into, and I started to feel it in training camp. But by the time there was the first home game, it's hard not to feel at home when so many people are supporting you. I've moved my whole life, so that's old hat. But I remember specifically leaving the stadium after the first game and being like, "Wow, this is a great place to live and do my job." So I'm going to fight tooth and nail while you guys try to kick me out of it. And I'm a fighter.
Like, did Armstead have the foot surgery, and should he be fine for training camp?
So he's been having a good off season. I try to honor the all the players with not really putting their business out on the street unnecessarily. I have no reservations about where he's at. He has had his fill of watching practice, so he's done everything in his power, and I look forward to seeing him in training camp. And I haven't been given any reason to have hesitancy to this point at all.
The team runs into some money post June 1, which happens to be tomorrow's date.
What?
I know you can't tell us exactly what the organizational plans are, but can you speak to the benefit of having that kind of cap relief at this juncture?
Well, it's something that that when any direction is decided for the team, you're kind of aware that that's coming. So that has been planned, and we are aware that that's occurring. And we typically do everything we can to have the best team possible within the guidelines of the salary cap. So, not sure where, but I'd feel confident to say that we'll make good use out of that salary cap room when it comes to the start of the regular season. I can't believe you guys missed the op. This is the South Florida 2023 did not just begin with these playoff early progressions of both the Heat and the Florida Panthers. No one wants to talk to me about Nova? No?
No.
Okay. Well, they started it out with Division II national champions in basketball. And there's another one out there too. You guys know? Come on.
We should talk about FAU.
And FAU on top of that, the U doing winning all sorts of basketball games. But Joey Marino You heard the last name before? Yeah, he's a champion. He in South Florida, 2023. He's the head coach of their golf team.
Do you golf?
You
golf?
No, but I judge it. That was good. That was terrible. One of those things. So yeah, you learn something new every day. But let's expand our horizons, guys. All right, you good? All right, appreciate it.
I know some of y'all don't like, that he, is very long-winded in his speech.
Screw that. I love that man.
I love him. I do. I think he's hilarious. He's a treasure. He needs to be protected at all costs. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. We're hanging out here. If you guys want to get onto the stream, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Feel free to get up here. Ryan, read your text, read your Facebook message. Thank you, Ryan. All right. We got a lot going on here. What were your thoughts of the Lewis? I'll start with you. What did you think of? Did you learn anything? Was there anything that you took away from that press conference? I don't think there was much, personally. I don't think a lot of questions.
No, I didn't really take nothing from it. I mean, it's OTA. One thing I did like, though, I ain't gonna lie, and I know Dade County, I give them a lot of crap about the Miami Heat, but I do like the aspect of what Coach McDaniel said with the relationship he has with Spo, because again, Spo is a guy, been down here, knows South Florida, knows the culture down here, and for Mike McDaniel to be able, I'm pretty sure they exchanged numbers, just to have that balance, like a relationship to where, hey, Coach Spo, like when you heard him say the Heat culture, the way he teaches the players, he develops the players, I kind of like that. That's the one thing that did catch my ear that I perked up a little bit. I'm kind of glad he does have a relationship with a guy like Spo, a guy that's won championships, has been in South Florida, and kind of knows the atmosphere down here. That's the one thing for me that I kind of took from it.
Ron, what did you take from the press conference?
Well, and again, just like Lewis said, I mean, I really didn't expect much from an OTA press conference. But one of the things that I liked what he said was when he was talking about the rookies, he acknowledges the human factor that's involved and not just the football factor where, they're just swimming now. They got to get acclimated to everything. He understands that they're human beings that have to deal with all kinds of stuff other than the stuff that's on the football field. And, the fact that he acknowledges that and has an understanding of that leads you to believe that, he can understand what the players are going through and what he needs to do to help them get to where they need to go.
Dade, what did you take from it, Dade? Was there anything that you took from the press conference, bud? Take yourself off mute, Dade. You're on mute.
No, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've been working, bro. I missed it.
Ryan, what about you?
I love that man. But what I love about his press conferences, though, is that he provides information while at the same time not providing anything at all. But it's not like it's
some people
look,
hate
some people hate that. But the way he does it, it's not like he's saying nothing. It's not like Belichick where he just says a whole lot of nothing and then it's on to Cincinnati or whatever. Like he answers the questions and gives information, but none of it is giving anything away. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I love about him. That's what I love about his press conferences. On top of the fact that they are just damned entertaining.
I agree. Robert, what did you take away from the press conference? Anything? You're on mute, bud.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. We kind of already knew this, but every time he goes up there, he shows a level of personal intelligence that definitely impacts how well someone can lead a group of people. And I think that's key, and I think that's huge. Like the actual content of it today, other than the relationship with Spo and why that's important to him and what he tries to take away, we didn't really learn much. But I don't think we've ever seen him go up there and lacks self-awareness, tact, or show a lack of just how to manage personalities and how to carry his personality to make sure his points come across, but not be a dickhead.
I mean, look, I like everything that he quote unquote says. For me, it's you know, I think he's good for our team. He's good for the game. You know, there's a lot to like about it. I hope that
Yeah,
you know.
he's good for the community too, Steven.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. I think what Ryan said hit the nail on the head. He says everything and absolutely nothing all at the same time. I don't think that's lying to our face. I think that's being very tactful. That's being quote unquote political, you know, whatever you want to call it, however you want to say it. But I think at the end of the day, it's.
And when he does that, he flat out says, I can't say that. I can't answer that. I can tell you this much. Like, he doesn't try and double speak it and coach talk it like a lot of these other older coaches does. He straight up tells you, I don't know if I can talk about that. Like when they asked him about Teron Armstead, like, I don't want to put his business out there like that. But what I can say is, you know, like I like that out of him.
I agree. I gotta get out of here, Steven, get back inside. But you have a good day, everyone. Be safe and enjoy yourselves.
All right, man. Love you, Robert. Be good.
All right, Robert.
Lewis, let me ask you, you know, it's funny. I got Bryant McKinney coming on tomorrow, and he was here when Joe Philbin was here. And we remember how bad Joe Philbin was. Why do players like McDaniel? Why do you think players like McDaniel, Lewis?
Because he's just an energetic guy, man. I mean, the swagger for our coach and a lot of coaches in this league, you know, they just don't have that kind of personality that he does have. Like, you could tell why players would gravitate to a guy like this. He's a player's coach. I think he's fun. He's energetic. You know, you see it even at OTAs when there's music blasting and stuff. You'll see videos. He's dancing. He's walking around. When the game in Buffalo last year, the shirts make it colder. I wish it was colder. He's just one of those guys. And again, I was a Flores guy as well, Stephen, as you know. I think you can coach like Flores and be a kind of dictator and hard, and I think you could be that way. And you know, just McDaniel's just showing you.
Crypto paid his square jar. Crypto's back. He's got $4 credit.
Yeah, and McDaniel's just showing you that you don't have to be like Flores. You could be a player's coach. You could be more of their friend and stuff. And I you know, again, listen, I love Brian Flores, but I would sit here. I'd be a hater if I told everybody I didn't like McDaniel. I absolutely love McDaniel as well. So I just think he's one of those guys, man, that people gravitate to. You know, that's why we all love him, because we gravitate to him, and we really don't even get to interact with him or be in the building with him every day or nothing like that. So I'm, you know, just like Ryan said, just like you said, and just like I said, Stephen, like, we love him. Just imagine, and that's from afar. Just imagine the players that are around him every day. So,
look,
hey, Steven.
What Crypto? Go ahead, bud. Welcome back.
No, I was just gonna repeat what kind of like my point was the same with Lewis when it came to McDaniel's conference. You know, it's off-season speak. You know, it is what it is. It is good that he mentioned a Spoelstra relationship. That's a good thing, especially when you got a guy that's been in the finals that many times with makeshift teams. That helps a lot.
Do you think that McDaniel can learn anything from Spoelstra and put that into an effect or in effect with this current Dolphins team?
Yes and no. I mean,
you think
when it comes to the principles, when it comes to the principle of it, yeah, fundamentally, yeah, but by it being two different sports, you can't apply everything to the T.
I agree. You can't
apply
everything
the principle,
the
right?
I agree.
You can just apply the principle and the philosophy that you can translate from sport to sport.
There's times when we talk about coaching trees in the NFL and coaching disciples, and one of the things that I find very interesting is when you look at the the coaching trees throughout the NFL, and we look at McDaniel, and I'm going to say McDaniel comes from McVay's coaching tree. Is that right?
Shanahan.
Sort of.
Is it Shanahan's coach?
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan?
I mean, you
Yeah,
could say the beginnings would be Shanahan.
The beginnings would be Shanahan.
McVay actually technically came from Gruden's tree.
Okay, so I look at that and I say, look, these are coaches in the NFL that right now are the young, hot coaches, and if McDaniel came from him, he already understands how players in today's NFL react compared to players in the NFL back in the day. I remember years ago we used to talk about millionaires versus billionaires when it came to owners and players. But the reality of the situation is a lot of those arguments stem from, does an owner back a coach or does an owner back a player? And I think it depends on certain situations. You go to Seattle, the ownership backed Pete Carroll over Russell Wilson, right? And there are situations at Green Bay, owners backed up, the franchise and moving in a different direction over Aaron Rodgers. They did the same thing with Brett Favre, right? So, I think that when you have a good coach and you have a good front office and things are working the way that it's supposed to, which, by the way, for me, I think this is the best this front office has looked and head coaches looked in the last 20 years here, for no other reason than we came off a playoff win. We have a top 10 offense for the first time since the mid-90s. We brought in a coaching adjustment on the defense of a defensive coordinator that has, top 5. Even he's had a couple of number 1 defenses since he's been a defensive coordinator. I think that's, out of all of the moves that we've made, Tyreek, Jalen Ramsey, everything, that's what excites me the most, is there seems to be everybody on the same page.
Yep.
And
unity.
We have not had that in years here. In years. And that's how you win championships.
I agree. I've been saying that, and Lewis, you can back me up on this. I've been saying it for so long that one of the main reasons why we haven't been successful is lack of consistency and stability. You look at all the successful teams in the NFL, the 49ers, the Steelers, the Packers, it's consistency and it's stability in the front office and the coaching staff. And granted, we maybe didn't have the right personnel in place to stick with a guy who had a losing season because they didn't do their due diligence enough to get the right guy. But if you do the due diligence enough and you get the right guy, you got to give him a chance to fail if he's going to fail his first year or two before he's going to be successful. And we've never done that.
Well, I think the NFL period, Ron, has that problem, right? Like there are plenty of go look at Cleveland and Detroit over the last 20 years. How many times have they had head coaches that last 1 year and then they just go on to the next thing? And I'm like, how can you get like Freddie Kitchens, right? Freddie Kitchens is a great example for Cleveland. I don't think Freddie Kitchens was the guy that they should have went with, but they went with him. And to only give him 1 year, I think was the most disrespectful thing ever. Because if you're not going to give the guy an opportunity to put in his own pieces, his own personnel, his own stamp mark, what was the point of bringing him in the first place?
Well, again, that's their fault for not doing your due diligence to put the right guy in place to begin with. You have to have the faith in the guy that you're putting in there, and then you have to give him enough leash to perform the job as well as he can. And again, there are some coaches that deserve. Listen, Cam Cameron deserved to get fired after that 1 year. There's no question about it. But again, that's it. That situation where I don't think they did their due diligence to hire the right guy. They should have hired Mike Tomlin years ago. They had the opportunity to, and they didn't do it. And I'm still kicking myself in the ass over that. But
yeah, he probably would still be our coach now.
He would be without question. Mike
Tomlin, if he was hired in 2012.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. So actually, let's talk about that for a second, right? If in order for the reason I think Tomlin has been so successful in his tenure in Pittsburgh is not only Tomlin, but the front office and ownership have worked well together,
Absolutely.
right? And so we can all say publicly that let's go back to the Saban situation. I don't know if we can say that about Tomlin because Saban, clear as day, says and pounds on the table to this day and said, I wanted Drew Brees. The medical staff overrided me, and the front office went with what the medical staff over what I wanted. And I think we can all agree that if Drew Brees had have come here over Dante Culpepper, that this franchise would have been very different, right?
Yeah, but
we would have probably ended the Super Bowl drought by now.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but one thing that confuses me. Saban had control over the personnel when he was here.
Yeah.
So who is he blaming for not taking?
But it's the ownership.
The ownership, front office ownership went said that
they vetoed it. Yeah,
the medical experts said, and it's been like he said, no, I wanted to override it. Right. He was willing to sign a waiver, and I thought it was worth the risk of going with Brees, and he would have been right. He would have been right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't believe he's telling the truth there. I think if he wanted him there, Saban had all the power when he was here.
Not all the power, Ron.
Ron, you don't have the power over the ownership. And I think, listen, the fact of the matter is, what Steven just said about Mike Tomlin is absolutely correct. And this is the argument I used to have with people about Brian Flores, and I know it's going to piss people off. But when you're hired as the head coach, this is just my opinion, there's 32. We always say it about quarterbacks. There's only 32 of them. There's only 32 guys on the face of this earth that are qualified to be a head coach. When you give a guy the keys to the franchise, you're going to be that guy. Whether we like it or not, they should have the keys, right? And I think what we're seeing in Miami now is Stephen Ross is kind of taking a back seat. Stephen Ross is basically telling Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel now, this is your baby right
Just
here.
Do what you want, right?
I will cut the checks for whatever you guys want. I will cut that check. But in my opinion, when Brian Flores was here, right, there was too many hands in the cookie jar. Stephen Ross had what he wanted, Greer, Flores, and stuff. And now I just think it's Mike McDaniel sits down with Chris Greer and says, hey, this is what I need for this football team. This is what I want.
I'll do you one better, Lewis. I'll one up that and say that I think that Stephen Ross has surrendered and said,
conceded. Absolutely.
I can't have a say here. I need to shut up. I need to shut up, sign the checks, and keep it moving. That's how I look at what happened with, the Greer and Ross and Flores situation. Because now, here's what we kind of know. All right, and this is some of it. I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed, but it was known that during the interview process for McDaniel, that it was said, hey, look, we're going to retain the defensive staff here. Right. If after 1 year it does not work out the way that we hoped it would, you can bring in whoever you wanted to bring in. And the number one goal, the number one person that McDaniel wanted to bring in from day one on the defensive side was Fangio. And Fangio decided, you know what? I'm going to stay a year out because I'm going to see if this Miami situation works out. And it did for him. And it worked out great for us, I think. But imagine if Fangio had 1 like, imagine if they just cleaned the slate and just said, bring in whoever you want to bring in. That is my problem with coaching staffs or with front offices for years, and especially with ours. When you clean house.
Everybody.
Just clean
Everybody, get out.
Let the person bring in who they want to bring in.
My biggest problem is cleaning house every 3 years.
We sit here and we talk about the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins could have had a playoff victory last year had Vic Fangio been the defensive coordinator here.
Hell yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on. We had a bunch of turnovers, and it's actually a scoreboard touch. I don't think the defense was a problem.
I think Miami would have had a playoff victory last year if Tua Tagovailoa would have stayed healthy. See,
It
was mostly the offense efficiency that lost the Buffalo game.
I understand that's where the conversation will head. But let's go back to the original point of the conversation, Lewis. And that is somebody had said if Tomlin was here, we would have been a winning organization. I like to think that could be the case. But if I'm honest with myself, part of the reason for Tomlin's success is the Pittsburgh organization as a whole. They have had 3 head coaches.
Yeah.
And their entire
right. They stuck with their guy through thick and thin.
Their entire existence.
So you saying our owner would have fired them because they're not loyal to the coaches?
They would have got in the way.
I think our
they could have, but I don't know if he'd had that many losing seasons.
To be fair, Wayne Huizenga and Stephen Ross. I hate that I'm going to say this, but I think it's true. I think they were incompetent. And
they were.
It is true. And it's just like I said before, the consistency and stability. You change regimes every 3 years and expect a different result. That's a definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Every 3 years, we're changing GMs, head coaches, and starting all over again. It's not conducive to winning.
Well, it's because
that's because they mix in with the ingredients and bad mixture in the kitchen.
That's just because of the owner anyway. See, Stephen keeps bringing up Mike Tomlin, and that's the point. You don't hear nothing about Art Rooney. Art Rooney is just sitting there cutting the checks, but that is a Mike Tomlin led football team. Look at Kansas City. Kansas City is a consistent winner. You don't hear nothing about the Hunt family. You don't hear nothing about them. They're not in the
they're not interfering in nothing.
That is a big red Andy Reid led football team, and that's just I think where Miami why we're seeing some success now, and we're kind of high on this football team, in my opinion. And again, I could be wrong. But this now is a Mike McDaniel-led football team.
I would agree.
This is not.
I would agree.
No more the days of Stephen Ross. No, this is a Mike McDaniel is the guy. We listen to what Mike McDaniel says. What he wants, he gets.
Lewis, you've been on point today with some of your points. I've been very impressed. But I'll also,
he's not meddling with the operations.
I've been teaching that boy
meddling, meddling in affairs.
Greer's also learned from his mistakes too. With Flores. And so now Greer is even saying, all right, I see what happened with Flores. I understand why that relationship didn't work out the way it probably could have or should have.
Absolutely.
I don't want to make that same mistake.
And let's be honest, McDaniel knows how to deal with people, so he knows how to deal with Greer so that they can be on the same page.
Well, I think there's a level of respect between the two of them, right? Where and this is just my opinion. I have nothing to prove this other than my opinion or viewpoint of the situation. I think Flores came in thinking, quote unquote, he was hot stuff and that whatever he said should be the final say. And I think that was part of the reasoning that it didn't end up working out, because he didn't agree with some of the things that the front office and ownership was saying, good, bad, or indifferent. And nobody was on the same page for most of that tenure. And it seems like at least a year in so far, which I agree. What we need to do is wait and see how this year plays out, because what we do know is that when the Dolphins go to a playoff game, i.e. Adam Gase, that the next year seems to be a bad year. And so we need to let this play out on its own merit. Mr. Negative, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
Pretty good, man. Do you have I feel like you would have a very good insight or opinion of the conversation we're having here.
So you guys are talking about past coaches and regimes, I guess, or
well, I think it's more of and Lewis, you can help me kind of elaborate to this. It's more of, McDaniel being the guy that's leading the ship now. And we just listened to his press conference. We didn't learn anything, but I think we have a guy who the players respond to, the front office respects and works with, and ownership is willing to sit back and say, I don't need to meddle in any of this stuff. I need to let this play out and let these guys work together. And as long as they work together, my job is to sign the checks. And for the first time in the last 20 plus years, the Dolphins front office, ownership, and head coach seem to all be on the same page.
Steve, I'm sorry. I don't mean. I just want to ask one thing, Steve, because you mentioned something a minute ago that sparked something. When you said, after we go to the playoffs, we usually have a bad year afterwards. Here's my big question: what happens? God forbid. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to be successful. What happens this year if we don't make the playoffs? Are we going to clean house again, or do we stick with the people that we believe in?
The answer is yes.
Yes, they will.
The answer
is yes, they will.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there.
The answer. Well, hold on.
The answer is yes, they will, because they're gonna get impatient.
Ron, it does contradict kind of what we're talking about. But to be fair, we brought these guys in to work with the current talent that we have on the roster. And if they can't win a playoff game, let alone if they can't get to at least the AFC Championship game, let alone not make the playoffs,
Not make it at all. That heads will have to roll. Somebody's gonna have to be the sacrificial lamb.
But my point is, who knows? You know, there's all kinds of things that could occur during the season. God forbid we have injuries, whatever the case may be. My point being is that changing this regime is not going to change what you've already been through. You're not going to change the past, but you can believe in your guy enough that the future is going to get better if you think that he's the right guy for the job. But if you change regimes again, you're starting all over again, who knows what's going to happen to the roster at that point? Who knows what's going to happen to the front office at that point? Right now, you have a unified front office for the first time in years.
Ron, but there's been franchise example that's been able to turn it around in a shorter time period, in 1.5 to 2 years.
And how long have you been successful for? How long was their success sustained for? I'm talking.
We won't know. We won't know this until it plays out in Cincinnati. They turned it around in a year and a half.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I want to let Mr. Hold on.
We'll know if Cincinnati falls off the cliff or Jacksonville falls off a cliff.
Okay.
Two at a time.
All right, hold on, guys. Go ahead, Mr. Negative. I want you to kind of get into it.
Yeah, no. So here's my thought on everything. Right, is that what is the one thing that has never changed in the past, like say 15 years? I think it's been is the owner. It all breeds down from the top, right? It all breeds down from the. I know just as well as I know the sun's coming up in the morning, is that Stephen Ross cannot sit still, right? He has to be out in the limelight. He's gonna make a move. He's gonna, have a snap reaction or whatever. If this team gets struggling out of the gate, right? We're gonna hear all the rumors fly. We're gonna hear this. We're gonna hear that. Oh, Stephen Ross is definitely gonna meddle in some sort of way. I thought they had the right direction when they had Tony Sperano in place, right? I thought they were heading in the right direction. Bill Parcells ended up quitting because Stephen Ross, couldn't stop meddling, wouldn't let him deal with the franchise, right? Let him run things his way, and again, it's just more just dysfunction in the same old.
Can I interrupt and elaborate and give you my opinion of that? I think that's what makes this regime even better now, though, right? Because Mr. Negative, you learn from your mistakes, and my hope.
Stephen Ross never does. Stephen Ross never learns.
But there's something inside of me right now, based on last offseason, last year, and this offseason, that is telling me that Stephen Ross is literally just sitting still and signing paychecks and letting this play out.
What do we say every year? Oh, this feels different. Oh, this is going to change. Oh, things are going to change. Things are going to be different. We say it every year. And then what happens, right? We said the same thing with Adam Gase. We said the same thing with Joe Philbin. We said the same thing with Brian Flores, right? And we put these guys up on a pedestal. We hope and pray that it's the right mix of everything. See, the problem with the Stephen Ross era is that he changes one thing and then leaves the other the same, right?
Right now, Mr. Negative, with the exception of Greer, who, by the way, is not a horrible GM. He's not a great one, but he's a good one, right?
He's average.
I think he's above average. I think he's good. I understand why people don't want me to say he's top 10 because he hasn't won a playoff game. I'll concede to that notion, but he's easily 10 through 15 GM in the league. Now, with that being said, I think for the first time, because of McDaniel and now because of Fangio coming in, and it was McDaniel's number one pick, we have offense and defensive side all on the same page. We have ownership, we have front office and GM who Brandon Shore and Greer are working together to make the salary cap work, to bring in great personnel. They're working with Fangio and McDaniel respectively, because you go look at the draft it was Devon A-Chain was not a Greer pick. That was a McDaniel pick. Cam Smith was not a Greer pick. That's a Vic Fangio. So, but I'm just saying, it looks to me that go back and look at all the mistakes and all the issues that we've had over the last 10 to 15 years. I think it's led to this now where people realize for example, Ross realizes I have to shut the F up. I can't get in here.
Can't be tampering.
Steven,
People run the football organization. Period.
Steven, here's an example, right? Do you ever hear of the Rooney family ever meddling in anything? I never hear of anything they say, right? They just let the coach and the GM do their thing. In Pittsburgh, to what the point you made before, they've had 3 head coaches in their history, right? Like 3. Think about that. We've had like 3 in
amazing.
5 years?
10 years,
like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's just a poorly
I can admit that I'm being optimistic in a glass half full kind of guy.
Run organization, and until the owner sells the team, it will continue to be dysfunctional.
I will disagree with that last take.
Here's the other issue. They were just as dysfunctional.
We just have to wait until the 3-year mark.
They were just as dysfunctional.
We'll wait till the 3-year mark, and we can fully assess that.
They were just.
Then we'll know for sure.
Mr. Negative, to be fair, if the Dolphins make it to the AFC Championship game this year, we're right where we need to be as a franchise.
Yeah. Okay, and if they don't make it, are we tearing it all down?
Let Brady become owner.
I think if we don't make the playoffs, there's a good chance that will happen.
Okay,
if
so
we
you're just right
win a playoff game and lose the AFC divisional round by some freak whatever, as long as we don't get blown out.
And Steven, there's more of a chance of that happening.
You keep it again and you see where it goes the following.
And you're right back where we started with the same dysfunction we've had in the past 3 or 4 regimes.
I want Brady to become owner. Negative, unless you have Patrick Mahomes, and I don't want to say Jalen Hurts yet. I want to see Jalen do it for another full season this year. Unless you have Patrick Mahomes or Bill Belichick as your coach. Or
come on, Steve. We have Tua Tagovailoa. He's the greatest thing ever.
No,
he's the greatest thing ever.
Just ask any Alabama fan.
He's a great example. How about this?
He's the JC of football.
Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl or 2. Then they fell off the map. They were not good for a few years. Now he's back again with a quarterback, Geno Smith. Everybody wrote off. But he's a damn good coach. The front office stood behind him. They didn't.
And now Geno Smith having the best career in his year. Best season in his career.
Ron, to be fair I know you're trying to.
It could be. That's why I say 1-year outliers doesn't tell the full story. And that goes for anybody.
To be fair, Ron,
good or bad. If you have a bad season as an outlier or a good season as an outlier.
I know we heard you, Crypto. Damn.
You gotta have faith in your personality.
Ron, to be fair to your point, you can't compare Pete Carroll to Mike McDaniel yet.
No, of course not.
That just can't happen.
No, of course not. The point I'm trying to make is either you have faith in your personnel or you don't. And if you don't hire him in the first place. If you do, you have to give him enough leash for him to do his job, to learn on the job. Sometimes you have to fail to be successful.
I guess that's fair, but I don't know.
But to keep changing every 3 years is not working.
I don't agree with Mr. Negative at the last statement because, look, for somebody who I could fire Ross sell the team, hashtag toss boss Ross, whatever. Like, I was all on board with that. But I will say Ross does something that most owners don't. Right. He signs paychecks and does not care how much they are.
Listen, I was around.
Just not for a great quarterback.
I was around during the Shula era. Okay, I remember when it was like.
Lance, let's look at that. And I hate that the conversation's headed this way, but let's look at that. Is he going to do it for Deshaun Watson, who had 100 plus sexual allegations towards him? Nope. I know why he didn't do it there. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it for Russell Wilson?
And like I said, all of them was not credible from day one. Even the judge agreed with me on that. None of those all the women were gold diggers. Every single one of them.
Now I wouldn't have given.
And I still pound the table and say that.
Crypto. I said allegations. I didn't say that I can.
I got you. I'm saying I'm the only one that's brave to say that from the day one that every single one of them will go digging, and the judge came back 24 months later and confirmed it.
Let me finish my statement. I hear you. Here's the point I'm trying to make. You can go through every single person that has become available over the last 3 years, 4 years, and you can give a solid reason why the Dolphins didn't go after it. Not a good reason. Rodgers came off his worst year of his career, is on the down year of his career. What is he going to play? Maybe 1 year, maybe
2 years, maybe.
So I get why they didn't go after Rodgers.
We only have 2 years worth of team anyways.
Everybody
going
says
bye
that,
bye.
but that's BS too. We're in a 2-year window right now. I'll agree to that statement, but it could easily be extended with certain circumstances going, certain things going our way.
And that's my point about the stability and consistency again. I was alive. I remember all those years that Shula was the coach and the GM. Listen, Joe Robbie was a scumbag of an owner. He didn't want to pay anybody. Shula was a great buffer between the players and Joe Robbie. And he got stuff done because of the admiration and the respect that everybody in football had for him. But if you look, when you came into that organization, you knew what your expectations were. You knew what your job was going to be. You knew what to expect coming into the building, and if you didn't perform, you were gone. And that is, to me, is more important sometimes. If you go into a job that changes every year, if you go into a job and your objectives and your responsibilities change every year, are you going to get better at that job, or is it going to get harder every year?
Well, and right there to Ron's point, and what he said earlier, I completely agree with Ron 1,000%. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that we're having this conversation, right? Let's say the Miami Dolphins fail this year. We don't make the AFC Championship game. Hell, we don't make the playoffs. I don't think McDaniel should be fired. I think, in my opinion, right, if we fail this season with all the talent that we have, it's either Tua just got hurt and he wasn't available, or Tua just didn't play well, or there was injuries across the board. But I don't think you fire McDaniel because of that. Let's say it's Tua gets hurt. We already got our answer. I think it would be, we have to move off Tua because he hasn't stayed healthy. We try to go get a quarterback. But this changing every 2 to 3 years a coach, to Ron's point, there is no stability. There will be, you're never going to be able to build nothing. You have to give, and I heard Color say this when we hired McDaniel. He wanted McDaniel here for 10 years because at least give him a chance. Like, you can get rid of players, you can get rid of whatever, but, from the top, and again, I know it's owner is top, then general manager, but the head coach has to be on board. It's like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, yes, he started off with like gangbusters in Seattle, won a championship, had a defense. Then he's had a couple up and down years, but he's still the coach. You see what I'm saying? They never wavered off of Pete Carroll. So, like, to go further about what the question was, Ron's original question, well, if the Dolphins failed this year and stuff. Yeah, I don't think we should blow it up and fire everybody. I don't. I think, again.
That would be drastic personnel changes, I would say that much.
I mean, really, how many years did Reed have a bad year?
There's no way you're going to run a propaganda campaign saying that we're the best team that's ever assembled in Miami Dolphins history and not have nothing to show for it.
No. Well, Crypto, because if Tua, let's say, and again, I'm kind of with Steven. I hate when it goes like this. But in my opinion, and I'm just speaking for me, the only way this team fails if Tua Tagovailoa fails. If Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy, right? If he stays healthy, yes. Is he going to play 17 games perfect? No, nobody's perfect.
I don't think that's always the case. Because if Tua fails, his team failed. No, I don't say he's the total linchpin. I say if Terran Armstead fails, this team fail. If Waddle or Hill fails, this team fail. I mean, you have a lot of linchpins that could make this team unglue in seconds, and it bored out last season. Last season, it bored out.
I think
what happened when Terrell.
It did not boil out. Listen, again, we can say what we want, and
I mean, it did.
No, it did not.
When
Because
Terran
Armstead
Armstead went
got
down,
hurt,
his
they
team's
pulled Tua out.
chances went down.
If I'm allowed to finish my statement, right, I will prove to you, Crypto, that it did not. Because Terran Armstead was not in the game against the New York Jets when Teddy Bridgewater got knocked out and Skylar Thompson played. With 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, it was 19-17, and Skylar Thompson was driving to take the lead.
Yep.
So don't tell me
And that had
Terran
nothing to
Armstead-
do, right? But
and
that exactly
Terran
that had
Armstead
nothing to
had
do with us
nothing-
losing.
Again, that's what I'm saying. It's all on Tua because if Tua was in that game against the New
You
York
making it
Jets,
seem like it was a jet, it was a quarterback. The
Crypto,
reason
you're
why we
not letting
lost
me-
it.
Crypto, you're not letting me make my point because you keep cutting me off. If Tua Tagovailoa was the quarterback of the New York Jets, whether Terran Armstead was on the field or not, we're winning that game. Period.
I don't buy that because I don't really buy that because it wasn't a quarterback position. It wasn't a quarterback position that lost us the game. It was Tanner Connor in the possession and the key possession for us to freaking what to call it, and freaking he missed a field goal for us to go ahead in that game, and that cost the momentum in that game, and that's when the bottom fell out in that game. They had nothing to do with the quarterback.
Here's the best thing
That would be believing that only the quarterback lost that Jet game, and it wasn't.
Here's the best thing that happened about
the
last
quarterback.
It was key drops in that game that happened throughout that game at the wide receiver position that killed the momentum of that drive, and to whatever reason people was rooting for that to happen because they didn't want Skylar to get the glory of coming from behind. I witnessed with my own eyes in freaking Jet Stadium, but it's neither here nor there. That was the case in that game that caused the bottom to fall out in that game.
Best thing that happened about
And the defense gave up 40 points. It wasn't the offense that couldn't score. We was driving. We was in prime position to win that game. Going down, and Tyner Connor gets put in and inserted in that game at a key moment, and he dropped the key pass that caused us to kick a field goal from a longer distance that we would have. It would have been down inside the 20 had he caught that pass. That would have been a much easier chip shot field goal for freaking Sanders, which he would have probably most likely made it, and we go on to win that game then and there.
Bottom line, the best thing that happened about that
They
game
had nothing to
is
do
that
with the quarterback position while we lost that
We
game.
needed more depth on our team, and we corrected it this year.
Coaching, putting the coaching in, and putting the freaking player in at that time, and the special teams botching a kick
How much we needed.
that cost us the momentum in that game that lost that game.
We addressed that depth, and now our roster is strong enough.
But when Terran Armstead went down in Houston, it was painfully obvious that our quarterback was getting killed, and they had to take him out of the game because he was trying to pad stats to get his numbers up again in a game that was 30-0. And then when Armstead went down, the freaking wheel fall off the freaking train. We know this.
No, we don't.
When that man went down, that is the case, Lewis. That's a fact. What happened? What was Tua was getting killed when Armstead went out of that game, and then they had to beg and plead for him to be taken out of the game.
You're bringing up one or two plays, Crypto. That's not the case.
One or two plays. That was the case of our whole offense got completely shut out in the second half. When he went out, we scored no points after he went down.
Okay, and that's not because of Terran Armstead.
That is because of Terran Armstead. There's no continuity on the offensive line. The offensive line was getting bullied. That whole offense, that side collapsed, and nothing happened.
The best thing that happened about that game
but
is
it's not the case.
That's
not the case.
That is definitely the case. And Von Joe, shout out to Von Joe when he pointed it out earlier, who was the real MVP of the offense that doing that stretch, doing that run, and how he was holding down the offensive line that time when he was in. We was like a top 15, top 10 offensive line when he was in there for the first 11, 13 games. When he went outside, going in and out of the lineup, we just catered. We just cratered. Offensive line just cratered. We couldn't do nothing.
And that's fine. No one's making the argument that Terran Armstead is not a great player and doesn't help this team.
He's the linchpin.
No, he's not. The fact of the matter is,
no, he's definitely the linchpin.
I guarantee you, this linchpin. If Skylar Thompson was, hold on, Crypto. If Skylar Thompson was the starting quarterback this year from week 1, that linchpin ain't winning you no goddamn games. Those are the facts.
Okay, so you can say that. You can say that all you want because we know this. When we have the examples of games when he was out. and when he was in.
If Mike Rice was the starting quarterback,
When we was in, and it's the same thing about the other linchpin on the boundary that draws a lot of attention. Like I use the terminology, all the gravity that Tyreek Hill sucks in on this team causes defenses to scheme against him, and that's what happened when the Chargers put out a 30-minute dossier on how to defend us, not Tua, defend our wide receivers. They put a 30-minute dossier out, and it's out there right now to be viewed on how they defended our wide receivers. They didn't defend our quarterback. They were scheming against our wide receivers. It's a 30-minute dossier out there. They was surely defending our wide receivers. They was not caring about who was at quarterback. That's exactly what they were doing. Go look at the 30-minute dossier that the Chargers put out.
Yelling.
Go and put the 30-minute dossier that the freaking Chargers put out, and then you would understand that they were defending our wide receivers with bump and run, man press coverage, and throwing the timing off the wide receivers. They were not worrying about who was at quarterback. They were defending our boundary skilled players. Waddle and Hill. You guys don't want to wake up to the music and know that that's the freaking fact. Y'all know that the gravity that Tyreek Hill showed. Just like when we didn't have that other. Why do you think our coaching staff tried so hard to get another speed guy to pair with Waddle when they tried to do it with Fuller the year before? Because they know it's harder for defense to defend two speed wide receivers, not just one. Because when we didn't have Fuller, we was getting shut down on the boundary because they focused on one Waddle. That's why his yards per reception was down compared to last year, because Tyreek Hill sucked all the oxygen out of the room. That's what causes the complete opening of this offense. And we know that. We were nothing when it was just Will and Park and Will and the average Joe on the other side of them. We have the example on how much gravity that Tyreek Hill sucks out of the room.
I'm sorry.
He is another linchpin.
Half a game that Will Fuller was on the field.
Can someone else talk now, Crypto?
He's the linchpin.
Our receiver, Dylan Waddle.
Yeah, the half a game that Will Fuller was on the field, in the Raiders game that we got cheated out of on the pass interference that should have been called, that would have caused the victory in that game.
Yes, that was the only game he played, wasn't it?
Dylan Waddle.
Yes, that pass interference, that egregious pass interference call that they didn't call in overtime that cost us the game.
Well, trust me, I remember it. I was there.
Oh, you was at the game?
Wow.
You went to that game?
Yeah,
This
I
is
was out there
amazing.
for that game.
Wow.
I mean, it seems like the further we get away from these games, we get more and more revisionist history.
Revisionist history, Crypto. The facts are Waddle and Hill.
That's what you call it.
And they were all thrown.
I mean, it seems like the further and further we get away from these games, it's like revisionist history. I mean, and I got to bring y'all back, just like y'all tried to pound the table and deny me about I'm not going to let y'all get away with the fact that y'all was telling me that the Chiefs wasn't going to the playoffs. They wasn't winning the division because Tyreek Hill was traded to us.
Okay, Crypto, the fact of the matter is, what does bringing up Will Fuller from 2 years ago have to do with anything this season?
I'm saying when we tried the philosophy in us getting a speed guy to pair with Waddle so we can have more of a threat on offense.
Again, that's fine.
Which means once we got that speed guy and consistently on the field, it made a hell of a difference.
What does that have to do with anything this season?
It has a lot to do with this season because the last season it showed how much gravity freaking Tyreek Hill displayed.
If that was
What
the
does
case,
last
if Skylar
season have to
Thompson,
do with this season?
if that were the case,
It hasn't. We haven't played it down technically. That's why I don't get into these arguments. That's why I don't get into these. That's why I don't give up these foolish arguments about how the Jets played 80-string defense quarterbacks. They played against 80th string. We played against 80th string defenses against our offense. I don't get into the waters with all that. That's nonsense.
Let this man say his piece.
If the quarterback didn't matter, was a linchpin, why was he the only one that threw all 15 touchdowns?
I'm not saying he wasn't a part of the offense. I'm saying there's other linchpins to the freaking scheme. There's other there's other pieces that draw attention on other teams' opposing coordinators.
Played better. Period. Lewis, you right on the
other offensive coordinators, bro. Other defensive court, once again, there's a 30-minute dossier out there that the Chargers that put out there. There's a 30-minute dossier up there that the Chargers put out on how they defended our wide receiver position. Green Bay also used that same dossier, and they applied it in the second half of that Green Bay game. They did the same thing moving forward, and then the Jets did it in the final game. They applied the same dossier, even against Skylar Thompson. They wasn't caring about Skylar Thompson because they was caring about the wide receiver.
Hey, Crypto, can I ask you a question? Can I
Go ahead.
ask you just one? Because again, it's
Go ahead.
funny about all these dossiers you're handing out. Let me hand you a couple dossiers. Was there a dossier that the Dolphins?
I ain't say I'm handing them out. I said the Chargers did.
And again, so let me hand out a couple dossiers that the Miami Dolphins handed out. Do you remember the dossier that Miami Dolphins handed out against Cleveland? Do you remember the dossier that the Miami Dolphins handed out against Baltimore?
Yeah, and to your point, when Cleveland at that time was ranked dead last in pass defense, and they was and you use the same thing when the Jets quarterbacks when the Jets quarterbacks once again when you like to put out the fact that the Jets played a bunch of third string quarterbacks throughout the season. What's good for the goose goes for the gander, Lewis. That's why you can't use that as an argument.
But you can't use it then as an argument. Crypto is what we're saying.
I'm not using it as an argument. I'm saying the fact of the matter is Tyreek Hill has a lot of gravity that he draws towards opposing defensive coordinators, and they focus on him and scheme against him. That's their biggest threat.
Then why didn't Skylar Thompson or Teddy Bridgewater?
That's their biggest threat. They were successfully scheming against them. Teddy Bridgewater against the Vikings had over 300 yards.
No touchdown passes, none. 2 or 3.
But he still had yardage.
Waddle. Every touchdown pass was thrown by.
But he still whoop-de-doo. Congratulations, whoop-de-doo. Bridgewater didn't throw a touchdown, but he still got the yardage. He still got the yardage. It's not Teddy Bridgewater fault. Waddle fumbled the football after getting 40 yards down the field. Is that Bridgewater fault? Is that Bridgewater fault that Waddle fumbled the football after catching it 40 yards down the field? I'll wait. Because the total yardage in that game was over 400 yards between passing offense.
No touchdown.
And passing up because one of them could have he could have walked in the end zone. He not fumbled the ball.
Yeah, because they were only focused on.
And for the record, he did throw a touchdown to Gesicki in that game. So he did throw a touchdown.
Right?
But he got over 170 yards. Pull up the yardage in the Vikings game. Put up the yardage that he got in the Vikings game. He still got a yard of yardage in that game, and that's including the fumble he had. So he probably would have had a 200-yard receiving in that one.
Contradicting your own argument.
Obviously not. But the fact of the matter, the offense still got their yards.
You just said they didn't focus on the quarterback.
You don't win games with yards.
If that were the case, how would they have gotten so many yards? They didn't score a touchdown, though.
Okay, you don't. But guess what? He still got the yard. The offense still was gelling. We just didn't get in the end zone.
How do you win games?
That's the only part that matters. You can throw for 900 yards a game. If you're not
a fumble cost us a touchdown on that drive.
But if that happens
and then another one going into halftime, another fumble cost us a touchdown on that drive going into halftime.
It had nothing to do with the fact that if Tua was on the
and that had nothing to do with the quarterback. So you're gonna agree now for to get 10-4 hat on you because now you're gonna say that as if Tua was in the game, they wouldn't have dropped those passes. Come on, so unless they're intentionally dropping it for Skylar. So now I'm gonna go 10-4 on you now. I'm gonna say they're intentionally dropping it with Skylar because they don't want freaking Skylar to get any accolades. Now you want to say that they only would have called it because Tua's the quarterback. Now I'm gonna flip it on you and say that he intentionally dropped it because Tua wasn't the quarterback. Now we can go down that road if you want to say that. Sit there and say that. If you want to sit there and say that, we can go down that road. If you want, yeah, it doesn't mean the hands are different.
But if Tua
they could call it, they could call it different game. They could call it different game all they want, but it doesn't change the fact that a drop happened. That was the hands that happened. You can call it a different game all you want, But the fact of the matter is, a drop happened.
Probably aren't. Those kinds of throws aren't happening in that situation. With
Don't
Tua
sit up there and
because
act
his
like
strengths
Waddle
are
didn't
different.
drop passes
His
when Tua
strengths
was
are
a
different.
quarterback because he did it in the fucking Bengals game.
That's the point, though.
So
Crypto.
don't sit up
They
there and
drop
say
passes.
that then.
That's
That
the
mean
point.
that the drops happen. The drops happen.
That's the point. They drop passes.
It's obvious that they're going to call a different game because it's a different quarterback. It doesn't change the fact that a drop happened.
It happened with Tua also, but they still.
Okay, then. That means if he could have lost that game if he'd have been dropping key passes or fumbling the ball.
Scored points.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's the same thing happened in the Steelers game when it was a bunch of near interceptions and we didn't score a lot of points. So stop it. Drops happen. Okay, they can drop Tua's passes too. Let's act like they're only going to catch 100% of all the balls he throws. So you're going to sit up there and say, if you're going to say they're going to catch all the balls that Tua throw, that means that you're conceding the fact that Tua is out there, that the receivers only intentionally want to drop passes because they have a certain quarterback in the league. That's it.
This is your fault.
If you want to do that, I'm going to go 10 foil on you because you're going to go with that dumb narrative that he's only catching passes because Tua is throwing to him.
Hey, Lewis, let me ask you a question. The Chargers game, did Tua still throw a 65-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill? Even though
when the DB slipped and broke his ankle on the right sideline, yes. And one of them was a fumble return for a touchdown when the running back got blew up in the backfield, and then he got a fumble return for a touchdown.
Skylar Thompson have thrown that touchdown pass because you didn't throw one all year. How about Teddy Bridgewater? He didn't throw one all year.
Yes, he did. Threw 4 touchdowns. What are you talking about? He threw fucking 4 touchdowns.
He would have had more.
Tua on the field makes that offense better. Period.
You're moving the goalposts. You want to say that it's exclusively. Is he undefeated, Ron? Is he undefeated? You're going from the standpoint as if he wins every single game, as if he didn't lose a game while he was starting and finished the game. Well, then you can't make a definitive statement and say he would have freaking won a game here, a game there when it wasn't the quarterback's fault.
You said that Tua was not responsible for any of the Dolphins' success.
I didn't say he wasn't responsible. Now you're lying. Now you're a liar, and the truth is not in you. Because I never made that statement. I said somebody else is a linchpin other than Tua as well. I said he ain't the only one. So stop lying. Now you're just a liar, and the truth is not in you. I never said he never was. You are lying. You just made an inclusive ultimative statement.
You're lying because Lewis said
you just made a statement that was an outright lie. And you want to be white knight. You want to be a white knight to Tua. I understand that. But I'm not finna sit up here and let you gaslight me, bro. I'm not finna sit up here and let you gaslight me on some nonsense. You want to be the white knight to Tua because of the statement that freaking Lewis made. You want to be the white knight to Tua because of the freaking statement Lewis made. And you want to come to the rescue and want to sit up there and lie. That's what you're trying to do. I never said he didn't have nothing to do with it. I never said he never had nothing to do with it. I said there are other linchpins in this offense that people worry about. That's the statement I made. That is the statement I made, that there are other linchpins other than Tua. Stop it. That's the only statement I made.
You disputed the fact that Lewis.
That's the statement Yes, I did dispute it because Lewis said it was the only linchpin, and I said it wasn't. And I said it wasn't the only linchpin. That's what I'm contending. Which means by definition, I said Tua is some of the linchpin. That's by definition. By definition, when I rebutted Lewis, that means that's not all inclusive. That's what I said.
You haven't seen your moment, bro. That's not what you said.
No, you're having this fucking senior moment.
Swear, Jar.
You know exactly what I said. You know exactly what I said. You're a liar, and the truth is not in you. You're sitting up there. You're lying. Steven, rewind the tape. Rewind what my rebuttal to Lewis was. My rebuttal, I added 2 other players that was also linchpins other than Tua. By definition, that means all 3 of them are linchpins. So stop the cap. So stop the fucking cap.
Where is crypto at this point?
No, I'm up to my limit now. I only used it twice.
You've done it.
Oh man.
I'm sorry about that, guys, but I swear to God, he disputed it.
Crypto, is he over? Noob, is he over the $5? Crypto swear jar is $10. Okay, all right, $10. Crypto. Oh, he's now at 2 in the red. Oh, he's not. All right, Noob is the guy I'm going with here. All right, Crypto, you're back. You got $3 left before you have to pay.
Okay. I got you. I told you I was close.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna let the guy cap and gaslight me when my original rebuttal to Lewis was that Lewis' statement when he made it as Tua was the only linchpin. I say he wasn't the only linchpin. By definition, he shared it with other people. That's what I was contending.
That's not the way you said it, Crypto.
That is the way just because you didn't understand what I'm saying. I can't understand. Reading is fundamental, just like comprehension is fundamental. Reading is fundamental, just like comprehension is fundamental. I can't help your comprehension level, bro.
And I can't help you.
Yeah.
Your bad articulation.
$2.
No, I articulate myself very well. Very well. And people know in this community, I'm very articulate with my words. Very well. I'm very well spoken. And that's without doubt.
It's your memory that's failing then.
That's without doubt. That ain't memory. That's a fact. What I said in my rebuttal to him, like I just said, it wasn't the only linchpin.
That's all I can think of. That's a fact.
You know, I challenge all-inclusive statements when it was an all-inclusive statement that was made, a declarative statement that was made that was as if something was 100%, and I rebutted the 100% premise of the statement.
Okay, where did this?
And that's what I was rebutting. The 100% statement of the statement, the premise of it.
Okay, Crypto.
And that was very well articulated.
Damn, look at those titties.
Crypto, I get it, Crypto. What I'm saying is,
hey, y'all,
why did we go down this road of this conversation when we were talking about head coaching and the aspect of the front office to getting out of the way of McDaniel and stuff? Why are we here?
We said if the team was going to fail this year,
because Ron wanted to play white knight to your statement. I rebutted. That's why.
Lewis, what was said was
that's why. That's why we're here. To be honest with you,
is if Tua failed. That's what was said or was injured. That's how we started all this, and Crypto contended that it's not just Tua. He was not the linchpin. That it was Teron Armstead.
You just said it not just Tua, which means there's a other participant of being a linchpin by definition. You just said it a few seconds ago that I said it wasn't just Tua. See how you just repeated what my original statement was. When you inserted the word just, by definition, that means I'm adding other players.
Does that make you feel better now, Crypto?
No, it doesn't make me feel better because now you just succumbed to my original statement in the last 5 seconds of what you just said.
I was just paraphrasing for Lewis, but that's okay.
Crypto is right in the fact that we lose Teron Armstead. He wasn't when he went down. Like Tua wasn't even in the game when Teron wasn't in the game, and we seen in the Houston game that when Teron Armstead went out, Tua was under fire, and they actually pulled him from the game because they didn't want him to get killed. So Teron Armstead
to that point, there's a reason that they fought so hard to get Teron Armstead back on the field before they got at the same time that Tua came back from that concussion. They didn't want him back on the field without him.
Right.
Touche, Jose Valdez. You got it. I'm done. I ain't saying. I'm not
for anything. I was trying to add to what Lewis was saying. I wasn't making it inclusive.
I'm done.
Point being, I think we all agree that this offense is 1,000% better with Tua on the field.
No.
You're making an argument that nobody's that's making, Ron.
It's all centered around Tyreek Hill, guys. That's what it is. It's Tyreek Hill and it's a bunch of other guys. It's Tyreek Hill makes this offense.
Waddle plays a factor into it, Mr. Negative.
Nobody else.
He does. He definitely played a factor in that Minnesota game.
Why is it that nobody else threw a touchdown pass to Waddle?
You're right, Stephen D. Waddle plays a huge factor.
And I think
it was evident in that freaking Minnesota game because Teddy would have got the win.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle's the reason why we lost that Minnesota game.
On the field, they didn't score any points, guys. They didn't throw a touchdown pass.
Does anybody hear me?
Wide receiver.
Yeah, we can hear you, Lance.
We scored 16 points. What do you mean we didn't score no points?
didn't score-
What are you
they-
talking about?
Nobody. Hill and Waddle only caught touchdown passes from Tua. They both combined for 15 touchdown passes.
So you're saying Hill and Waddle is only colluding with Tua to only catch his passes?
The other quarterbacks.
Once you're gonna go down that road again.
God.
So is he in collusion with them to only catch their passes?
No, he's better than the other quarterbacks. Period.
Ron, why is it that
I don't think so.
Why is it that
Oh,
Jalen
based on
Waddle-
Ron, he's colluding. There's some collusion. There's some collusion going on between the wide receivers. They only want to catch for one guy. They only
not
want
much
to catch
better.
for one guy.
Again, I stated a fact. I'm not talking about.
They're not going to drop passes for one guy.
I didn't say anything like that, Crypto.
Well, you making a statement like that for the 10-4 Hatsman to come out. When you make a statement like that, when you make a statement in that way and try to steer it in that direction, that's what you're going. That you're opening up the lanes for any 10-4 Hatsman to come out.
I stated
It is an accurate fact, though, that
anyway.
fact is, neither Teddy nor Skyler completed a touchdown pass to a wide receiver.
Okay,
Like,
but what's
that's
that
all
got
he's
to do with
saying.
the price of
Like,
beer in Germany? That's not
nothing,
that has
but
that's neither
what-
here nor
that's
there.
what- That's just what he's saying. That's the point he's trying to
But
make.
to throw that out there is it's a
Like, honestly,
sidebar.
I mean, it shows. I think it showcases more than
To
anything.
throw
the
that
lack
out there as a
of the red zone
sidebar that has nothing to do with why we lost the game.
It shows that the offense was not as capable.
Just because he threw a touchdown pass only to the receivers and the one quarterback didn't throw it to receivers.
I came
throw it
up here to
tight end.
say one
Doesn't-
thing.
It's not the reason
Crypto,
why
you
we
don't
lost
get
the
to
game.
imply things from what he said because you hate when people don't take your words literally. He quite literally said something else.
What are you talking about?
And then he just dipped.
You gonna make a statement and then leave? Congratulations.
Crypto
I
said,
do like-
congratulations, you played yourself. Let's go.
I do think it's strange though that when Waddle is in the game with say Skyler or Teddy, his performance is definitely underwhelming. But when it's with Tua, he is great. And why is that? What is it? Because of the left hand.
I think it has a lot to do with how Tua throws the ball into the tighter windows.
And there's a comfort.
And that's not a strong suit.
That has nothing to do why would a wide receiver drop a ball just and
I've
it
seen
hit him
Skyler
and
throw right
flatten
through
his
him
hand.
in his hand, and then he dropped it.
Are you from ZZ Top, Brian?
I am.
He wants to know.
I think it's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
left-handed and right-handed
There's got
spin
to
on
be
the
a comfort
ball.
level coming from Alabama, playing with him in Alabama, and then also playing with him here. I mean, that's just
I don't think
normal.
it's that, Ron. I don't think it's that because I mean, again, it's the right-handed and left-handed spin on the ball. Because you can't tell me that only Tua can play with Waddle.
I'm not saying
Like,
only to the play Waddle, but I think there is a more of a comfort level when you've played with the guy for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, but what about other wide receivers? What about other wide receivers? What about other wide receivers who go to other teams and perform the same or better? Like, I mean, how do you explain that?
The fact that neither of that proves that he would have definitively dropped the pass at a key moment of the game that would cost you a football
Waddle can
game.
only play with
All
Tua.
of this is just circle jerk.
I don't drop passes from Tua also. He wasn't perfect.
Okay, then that's the point. Doesn't guarantee that he wouldn't have dropped it at a key moment of the game that would have cost us a game.
Okay.
All right.
I'd be interested to see
Lewis
who he had more drops from. If he
Yeah,
had like per attempted catch or whatnot.
Should we start wrapping up and doing final
Oh,
thoughts?
no, he dropped more.
You mean more like his passing percentage? His catch percentage. That's what you mean?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah,
His
I'd be
catching
interested to
percentage.
see what that number would be.
All right. Hey, to be fair, a couple things before we just start doing final thoughts. Today was the last day of the Buffalo Bills ban. Buffalo Bills fans will be allowed back on the panel starting tomorrow.
No.
Yes.
Man.
Who's going to put money towards
even allowing the Buffalo fans back on?
Andrevius donated $15 on Cash App earlier to take away temporarily Batman's wrench just to mess with them. Batman, you're getting your wrench back. Don't take it personally. Andrevius was just messing with you.
I mean, you can donate to take wrenches away, Steven?
No, it was a joke. I don't think I'll do it again. It was a joke. It was I thought it was
Man, I ain't
funny.
know you can do that.
No, we're not doing that. I will say, how about this? I'll say if you are a member of the channel, you don't get your wrench taken away. But if there are a couple people that have wrenches that are not members of the channel, if somebody donates to take away their wrench for the day, maybe I'll allow that to happen. That might be a new thing. But it was done out of good fun. And if anybody takes it other than that, I'm sorry. What else?
Don't worry about the Buffalo Bill fans coming up here tomorrow too. I'll just vote them off. I'll invoke the vote and get them off.
Noob says he was
Just
cheated
keep 'em
out
in the
of
bag.
1 week.
Oh, that's
of
right. The
Bills-
voting's still in
Bills
place.
Bills ban. I mean,
Don't
it
worry,
was a
Noob.
whole
We'll just
month.
start the vote. We'll vote them off, Noob. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a whole month. All right, couple things.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Bryant McKinney is coming on in the morning. So we'll have him on. After Bryant McKinney, we'll be talking Panthers hockey with Locked On Panthers Hockey with Armando, talking Stanley Cup, Vegas Golden Knights versus the Florida Panthers. And then after that, we'll get into more football talk. Cameron will be on with me, and I'll probably open up the chat again to hang out with you guys. And then Friday is Jason Sarney, and we got a lot of cool things to talk about with Jason, so we'll do that on Spread Kindness Friday. And next week, I'm going to have, hopefully, I'm just trying to get the date down, Ryan Ripken, Cal Ripken's son, on to talk Major League Baseball, hopefully on that Thursday. And yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff in the works, man. We're doing big things here. Today's the last day of the month, and how that works with YouTube and donations is, that's how you at the end of the month, it reverts on the first of the next month, it reverts back to zero. Obviously I was out for 10 days, needed to do it. If you guys appreciate the content and like the content, please donate to the channel today. It helps. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. Even if it's $1, it helps. So if everybody donated at minimum $1 right now, heck, if everybody donated at least $5 right now, you're able to donate. Hit the like button, share the link, let people know that we're here. All right, I'm going to start doing final thoughts. I'll start with Mountie Fins. Mountie, you didn't get a chance to really talk a lot today. I apologize, man. But we'll start with you with final thoughts of the day if you want to take yourself off mute. Go ahead, Mountie. Mountie going once. Mountie going twice.
He's out surfing. He's in Hawaii, man.
All right, man. I would have loved to hear it from you. I'm sorry. All right, we'll start with Ron Levy. Ron, final thought of the day, bud.
Yeah, hey, Crypto, I love you, man. It just
It's all good.
Just gets a little passionate, but again, my point from earlier is I just hope that this regime gets a chance to be successful. I think that they will be. I don't think that they're going to shit the bed this year, but even if we don't get the ultimate goal that we're looking for, I think this franchise is headed in the right direction, and I don't want to see that direction change just because we didn't, go as far as we wanted to go. And I think we built the best roster we've seen in a while. I'm not going to say ever, but I think that with the players that we have, the cap space that they have given us, and the fact that they're managing the cap pretty well. This 2-year window, I don't think it's only going to be 2 years. I think we're going to go longer than that. I think there's things that they can do to extend that. Unfortunately, I think there's going to be some tough decisions coming up, though. We're going to see some players that we're going to lose that, it's going to hurt a little bit. But, the name on the back of on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back of the jersey. So, no matter what happens, I just want us to be successful. Like I said, I've been around for a long time. I remember the Shula years. So I just want us to get back to that, get back to being consistent winners every year, contending for a championship every year. And I think this is our year. I really do. I think we have all the tools. I think this Devin A. Chance is going to be a huge impact that people aren't I think they're sleeping on. And this defense is going to be top 10 before the season's over. It may not start out that way, but I think that we're headed for some better times, guys. Fins up.
All right, man. Be good, Ron. Appreciate it.
All right, Ron, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Crypto, final thought of the day for you.
Good show, Steven. It's been a pleasure, man. This is the off-season, silly season. Once again, May 31st on the eve of June 1st. Man, what can ask for anything more? Passionate fan base, ready to get it all going in about 3.5 months, and we got to take the bull by the horns and not fumble it, not fumble the season away. It's championship or bust with this kind of team. So it is. Guess what, Steven? What happened today? A guy came and fixed my washer. Guess what he was wearing? Guess what mask he was wearing?
He was wearing a Dolphins mask.
No, he was actually wearing a Buffalo Bills mask.
Oh man.
Yeah. he's coming to fix the washer, man, and he was
Noob
wearing a
with the
Bills
$5
mask. Go
donation says, robbed, I was hornswoggled, hoodwinked, bamboozled, snookered, mafia sports music did me sideways for sure.
It was
Damn.
Damn. Wow.
Noob, thank you for the donation. You're the only one that donated so far at the end here, so thank you, Noob. Noob at least appreciates the content in the show, even if he feels hornswoggled. I don't think I've ever heard that term, hornswoggled. I've heard.
But yeah, he was listening in on us, Steven. It was at during the segment we was going in on the division, how we was trashing the Bills in the division. So it was perfect timing. How we was trashing the Bills at the time he was here.
Look at Dolphin Don said I wouldn't trust that washer now though, Crypto. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I might have to replace it now because he probably put some kind of something in it. But yeah, he heard us. He heard us all going in on the Bills. But yeah,
hey, Crypto man, did you get your tickets for the FedEx takeover?
Yeah, I got them off the ticket site, off the regular site.
Tailgreeter?
No, I didn't get him through Tailgreeter.
Why not, man?
Because I'm gonna get the tailgate one separate from the ticket I already got. I got the tickets for free.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not mad at you there.
So I just bought a ticket.
Today's the last day of the pre-sale for the tailgate tour. So get your tailgate tickets today before they go up.
You still could buy them separate though, right, Steven?
No, you can buy. We have bundle packages of game tickets and tailgates. If people want to do it, and then we also
I can just do the tailgate, right?
Yep.
Just get the tailgate ticket.
Yep. So go
I
get your
can get the tailgate
because
ones.
the prices go up starting tomorrow. So get your tailgate tickets for the FedEx
Tomorrow, we 3
takeover.
months out, Steven.
I know, but we made a deal with the people that if we got an initial down payment of a certain size, that we could get cheaper rates. So we just said we'll do a pre-sale at X amount, and then we'll negotiate the rest of the prices.
What times does since the Philly is a night game? What time is the tailgate?
3 p.m. to kickoff.
Because I'll be checking
5-hour tailgate in
12
Philadelphia,
noon.
and we're 1 block away from the stadium. So that's going to be awesome.
1 block from the stadium.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
then obviously
in that
we got
same
the
part.
Baltimore beat down that we have a VIP tailgate private section in the awesome Jimmy's Famous Seafood Tailgate, which is a 5-minute walk.
Oh, it's gonna be close to the stadium this time.
No, it'll be the same place. It'll be the same place. So,
same.
But it'll be fun, man. It'll be good stuff.
The
but
Philly one.
Our tickets are a lot better this year. We have upper level and lower level tickets. So, and they're cheaper than they were last year. So we got good stuff. Good stuff.
Now
man.
the Philly one, you said across the street is going to be in a Wells Fargo complex. You know they got a huge,
it's going to be right
complex.
behind. It's going to be right behind Xfinity, the Xfinity Live, right, Ryan? Is that where it is? Right behind Xfinity Live. I'm pretty sure that's
like right across the street from Xfinity Live.
It's literally 1 block away from the stadium in Philly. It's dope as hell. So
I got you.
And then on Friday, we're going to be releasing the hotel information. We got some really great hotel partners for these 3 cities, and
You should get them for the Washington one. They got some good rates, Steven. You might want to check them out.
Wait till you hear what we got. We're going to announce it on Friday. Ryan's probably going to come on for a little bit on Friday, and we're going to talk about all 3 cities, the hotel partners, and the bus ticket that we're going to have available from the hotel to the tailgate after the game, from the tailgate back to the hotel. So you don't have to worry about traveling to the stadium or paying for parking. You'll just pay the bus ticket and it'll take you back and forth. So we got a lot of great options. So, all right. Crypto,
cool.
love you, brother. Be good, man.
No. That's cool, Sid. I appreciate everybody. Nice chopping it up. And I was gonna answer Ryan's question earlier from Ray earlier. I actually agree with him and Ron. Cleveland and Houston is gonna be this year's surprise team.
Well, I think you're wrong. Bye, Crypto. Get out of here.
Right.
Hey, Cleveland, go Cleveland.
Mr. Negative, final thought of the day.
Yeah, no, I'm just ready for the season to begin. I've had enough of the off season, enough of the constant feuding that is in our fan base. It's entertaining to a degree, but now it's time to, for the Dolphins to put up or shut up. There's no more excuses. There's no more, tired of these what ifs, tired of, Dolphins expecting me to drink their, yearly Kool-Aid. Just show me on the field, make me a believer, convince me that things have changed. Convince me that, this team can actually rise above all the adversity, all the what ifs, and actually get it done. It's high time. I mean, Florida sports is on the rise right now. You got the Panthers in the Cup final. You got the Heat in the final. I mean, neither were expected to be there. We expect the Dolphins to be, one of the best teams in the NFL this year. I want to see them prove it. I'm just tired of being fed, down led down that garden path of, make believe and sunshine and lollipops. Show me as a long time fan.
Lollipops.
Make
I like it.
me change my name. Make me change my name from Mr. Negative to whatever, because I'm ready for it. I want to see this team win a Super Bowl, and it's high time. We're never going to have this kind of roster again. It's just not going to happen, because when you have to pay the quarterback, it doesn't happen that way. You have to lose pieces around that quarterback. It's just a fact with the salary cap in the NFL. So this season, we got to get it done. No more excuses. No more what ifs. Get it done, Dolphins.
I'm not mad at you, man. All right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Be good, okay?
Thank you, Steven.
No problem,
Everyone
man.
have a good
Thank you for coming on. All right, bye-bye. All right, and then there were three. All right, Ryan, your final thought of the day, Ryan.
I'm just ready for September, man. That's all there is.
That's all there is?
September to get here. I just need September to get all the off season back and forth. Like, we're not even in training camp. Nothing anybody said today matters. We haven't even gotten to training camp for preseason, let alone the regular season. Nobody knows anything. I just want September to get here so the conversations can actually have meaning.
I agree. I 100% agree. All right, man. I love you, brother. Be good, man.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Later, Ron.
And then there was Lewis.
The best.
Get on the camera. You gotta close up on camera. My guy.
I don't know, Steven. You already know. It was wild today, man.
It was wild. I'm surprised nobody kicked anybody out today. No timeouts, no bans today.
People like to hear crypto scream.
I guess, but they don't at the same time. I'm like, what's up? Y'all can end this. Y'all can take a break from this and get, the conversation switched up. But apparently they wanted to hear everybody scream and yell today. So Ron and Crypto were going at it. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, they were.
Crypto's laughing in the background. What's your final thought, Lewis?
Final thought is I'm a believer, man, of this football team. I really am. I think the suffering is over. I think the Dolphins, because we always compare what the 90s Dolphins, the early 2000 Dolphins, what have they been the last 5 years? Bro, none of that matters. I think that Ryan just made a great point. Like, this is the best roster, or was that Mr. Negative? This is the best roster we've had in as long as I can remember. Yeah, there's been some players that might have been better on other teams and stuff, but the collective of talent we have, the coaching staff that we have, I think ownership is out of the way. That's where the conversation started. I think we're right exactly where we want to be, and just look at the success running through South Florida now. I mean, obviously you got the Heat. I don't want to give the Panthers credit because there's only one hockey team in the state of Florida. We all know who that is. I'll leave that alone. I really do believe this is the Miami Dolphins year, Steven. I really do. And no one's going to move me off that ledge. I'm not scared of Green Bay or Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Jets, as I like to call them. I'm not scared of
The
them.
Green Bay Jets.
Buffalo is on the decline. New England ain't got nothing for us. This is our year, Steven. So keep the faith. Keep doing your thing. We're here. We're going to love and support you always. And fins up, man. Dolphins are winning this division. We are hosting playoff games, Steven, in Miami this year. I will be with all my guys, you included, Steven, because I know once the Dolphins are hosting a playoff game in Miami, we are going to throw a tailgate.
An
See what I'm saying?
epic tailgate, to be
An
fair.
epic tailgate in Miami.
East
early
32,
January.
baby.
East 32 with Cameron, Von Joe, Steven. Everybody will be out there.
Dude, a playoff tailgate is going to be freaking wild.
Bro, it's going to be off the chain.
Wild.
And it's going to happen, Steven. It's going to happen. This is the year.
My
I don't
final.
want to come out and say Super Bowl. I'm guaranteeing we're hosting a playoff game this season. Book that. That's my final thought. Book it.
My final thought of the day, a couple things. Number one, it's going towards today's the last day to get your pre-sale tickets for the FedEx takeover, the Baltimore beatdown, and the Philly Finvasion. I want to see you guys all there. Lewis, I want to see you come to at least one of them, man. You got to come to at least one. That's my first thing. My second thing is a huge shout out to the homie, Nikki Smokes. Big shout out to him, man. Nikki came on the show yesterday, which was dope. But I've been going back and forth with a couple of other people and just talking. And, look, this is a grind. We do this every day. And there's a lot that goes into this. And some people do social media content. Some people do Twitter spaces. Some people do, songs like Solo D. And so everybody kind of contributes to their own way, shape, or form on how they want to be part of the DolFan community. And I know that Nikki Smokes has been a part of it for a long time. And to see him get his break with Barstool is dope as hell. And I was all over Barstool Sports yesterday, listening to them talk about Nikki Smokes. And it was the number one. He was trending on Twitter yesterday, Nikki Smokes. That's crazy. So, I think he's going to be great. I'm excited for him. And I can't wish him nothing but the best of luck and success. And he's going to be coming on from time to time. So hopefully, he doesn't forget the little people around here. I don't think he will. He's the man. And I'm excited for him. Super stoked. That's pretty much my final thought. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday. It wasn't much of a wild Wednesday except for the craziness between Ron and Crypto. Otherwise, it was not a lot of crazy. I was expecting it to be crazy because I had been gone for 2 weeks, but it wasn't, Lewis. I don't know what happened.
We got to ease back into it, Steve.
Got to ease back into it. Thursday, tomorrow, Bryant McKinney, Locked On Panthers, Armando going to be hanging out. We're going to talk Dolphins. We're going to talk Panthers. Get you set up for the Stanley Cup Finals. Talk about 305. Talk about Miami nightlife. Bryant McKinney was part of a couple of, I think, Love and Hip Hop Miami, right? Was he a part of that? Or was it, what was Bryant did? It wasn't Love and Hip Hop Miami. It was, Bryant. I don't remember what he was on. He was on one of those shows on VH1. I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, no.
Anyways, I know he knows a lot of the people in the 305. Shout out to Trina. Shout out to Slip and Slide. Shout out to he knows a lot of the people in those circles. So we're gonna talk a little bit about old Miami hip hop too, which I'm pretty excited about. So that'll be a lot of fun too. So tomorrow's show is gonna be dope. I'm excited about tomorrow's show. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. All right.
I hear you.
That's it, man. I think let me pull this up. Tua time. I love y'all. Y'all are the best. Be sure to tune in Monday through Friday, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Get your tickets to the tailgates, man. Don't forget. I love y'all. Peace.
Later.
Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time.